face that running up.
Good evening, Warband. It's your boy, Sir Yeetus. Welcome to episode 141 of Yeetus' Thoughts. This is something that's been irking me for the last day or two. Ever since I put up that one meme where it says a lot of young people are confused these days. Like, no wonder they're confused because these days society is living in a clown world. It's living in a twilight zone, right? What's left is right, what's up is down. And we're gonna break it down Barney style, and you guys can have maximum participation on the question that is coming up in my mind. Does politics belong with Red Pill? My response is, how is it not involved with Red Pill? How is it not? You got to be beyond naive to believe that the Red Pill will not be involved in some way when it comes to politics. Because how did all this start? With an ideology. Feminism. Ideologies are the benchmark for politics. Ideologies are the benchmark for influencing the government. How is Red Pill not gonna dabble in politics? Come on. MGTOW is different because MGTOW walked away from the system altogether. Red Pill is just pretty much being aware of how the system works, and then you gather the knowledge to navigate through this very system that's working against you. It is very naive because I'm pretty sure these people that didn't like my meme, they were very young or they were very blue pilled and truly did not understand the meaning behind that meme. So why are you making this political? Keep politics on the red pill, motherfucker. Politics has always been associated with red pill since day one. All right, so let's not act all naive and confused on why me, because I'm not the only one that's bringing it up. And on top of that, you, I'm sure there's other channels that just, you know, calling out women, trashing women, roasting women, and blah blah blah. That's not my channel. Look at my description, gentlemen. Everybody go ahead and look at my description. I look at all male issues when it comes to relationships and when it comes to society as a whole. Because let's keep it real, gentlemen. It does not stop with women. Women are only a piece of the entire puzzle. Let us not be naive to this, gentlemen. There are various systems, various ideologies, various laws, various policies that are causing men problems. How can we not take it political? How can we not talk about government concerns? Because at the end of the day, who takes the brunt of those consequences? Who takes the brunt of those policies? Men like you and me. But before I continue and I go on my epic rant, I am definitely gonna answer this question right quick. Buff Taurus, let me know if I said your name right. What are you drinking, Yeetus? Well, currently I'm still drinking that good Coke and rum, and it is fucking delicious. And I'm able to get my nerves loose. I'm able to actually speak on some serious shit and probably not hold back. I'm not going to hold back. I'm gonna do the cold words and all that stuff, but I'm not going to hold back when it comes to this because it's insane how naive a lot of men are, or ignorant a lot of men are, which is usually blue pill simps. Where they oh, keep politics out of red pill. So you believe that the red pill stops at just women? Really? Like, how fucking closed-minded are you? How weak-minded are you that you think that's just it? And me and Gray, we're gonna get into the specifics very soon. So before I begin, you already know what's going on. If you want to support your boy, Sir Yeetus of the Warband, the two links on top of the chat, Cash App, PayPal, best possible way to donate because the money comes directly to me, but you can also super chat and super thanks. You already know how it is. I am extra grateful for all the donations that you guys give me, and you continue to give me. But if you can't donate, I don't care. I don't care because once again, it's your choice. I'm not forcing you to do it. I'm not. I'm not coercing you to do it. I'm not desperate for money like these other content creators. Okay. What I want you to do, what I would like for you to do, even at midnight. I know it's late. It's late. Listen to what me and Gray have to say when it comes to the subject. Because dropping gems is the most important thing when it comes to my streams. Oh, we already got a super chat. Let's get this out the way before we begin. Because you already know Gray's been on the roll lately. He's been on 2-3 streams already so far. He's been busting his ass. So he's not done yet, thank God. I know he has a good amount to say. Silas Larson, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you very much. If MGTOW disappeared without a trace, perhaps they'd be non-political. But if they're explaining why, how they're withdrawing, they're political. I completely agree. And I'm going to keep this highlighted while I bring Gray in. Gray, what is going on?
Good evening. Stream number 4.
Yeah, you've been a workhorse all fucking day, bro. Like, that's too many streams, man. I 2 tops, 2 stream stops. Like what I'm doing right now. Stream from this morning and stream right now.
Oh yeah, there's Ribby, and then I kind of promised Herman I'd drop in for a bit. So seriously, a lot of people have been fucking helping me and showing me out. So the least I can do is pop in and give them some content and commentary.
There was way too many streams happening today. I'm telling you, it's not even funny.
Oh yeah, and Hammerhand was streaming at the same time as Ribby too. So
yeah, at the same time, Chronic at the same time. These other couple of channels I watch that are part of the Manosphere. It's like 5-6 different streams going on at the same time.
Busy day. But actually, to jump off of here. Actually, Backwoods Bachelor's got a good comment to work with. So, cold take on the subject. An important part of the red pill is that politics is just another part of the illusions keeping us enslaved to the system. Both sides of politics is a spectacle at best. Agreed. And that's a big part of it because for me personally, the red pill is all about seeking the truth. Politics is a lot of bullshit and lies. And calling out the bullshit and lies in politics is a part of understanding the truth. And I think what happens with the meme is that people might see, oh, well, you're criticizing the Democrats. You're criticizing the liberals. Therefore, you must be conservative. It's like, no. Just because you oppose someone doesn't mean you agree with the opposite team. You can think that they're both fucking scuzzy, but criticizing one just makes better memes in that particular moment.
I completely agree. And somebody else has a... And I want you to address this one after I address the other comment. Knox the Void Hound. Politics does not fucking belong to Red Pill because politics is only there to divide people. What?
Carry on, shut the fuck up.
What are you talking? Is this Carry On?
Yeah, he was trolling with his name in Hermit's chat.
Carry On. I'm like, I was about to get in. I was about to go in, bro.
I know. So I think, Carry On, you gotta at least get a second name if you're gonna try to fucking troll me twice.
politics out of
Okay, but you know what? But he does bring up a point which I would like to discuss because it's come up a little bit, and it's the phrase "divide and conquer."
Okay.
Which I spoke with Yeetus earlier on this, but divide and conquer is not, or at least from my understanding, is not get two people who should be allies to fight amongst each other so that they are weaker for you to finish off. Divide and conquer is the strategy of destroying a larger force with a smaller force by forcing it to split up into smaller forces that you are individually stronger than.
Agreed.
So this is where I'm actually in support of division and categorizing, because you can't tackle all the issues at the same time using very broad generalities. I believe it is far more effective to break down problems into individual bits which can be tackled and deal with them with a surgical precision. We don't have the numbers and resources advantage. It is only by splitting our problems into manageable chunks that we can even hope to address them. The large overarching shadow puppet masters behind everything will never touch them. We have to defeat their armies piece by piece using our inferior numbers and resources. And so dividing them up into categories that can be individually tackled, I think it's important.
Agreed. And I'm going to address this comment by Very Benjamin Life. It's probably better guys come up with their own ideas and answers to what is going on, in my opinion. And I completely agree. You should be able to have your own perspective on what the definition is when it comes to, red pill, mentality, because philosophies, they always evolve, whether it's for the better or for the worse. It's always going to constantly evolve. But my thing is, at the current moment, with the definition of the red pill, at least in the manosphere, how can you not talk about politics outside of women?
And let's be honest here. So much of the problems from these days are because women and people who think like women are given equivalent power to those that don't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because one of the big problems with the female mind is that they don't use in-depth processing and logical analysis. They're far more in the moment, far more emotional, far more subject to being emotionally manipulated. It's also why there's been a concentrated effort to lower testosterone levels in men, because when you remove testosterone from men, you physically make their brains more like women, and thus more capable of being manipulated. And this is why I will stand by voting does actually matter. If voting didn't matter, then there'd be no need to brainwash people into believing certain things and voting certain ways. The consent of the people still matters, regardless of what fuckery you see at the polls.
Completely agree. Because if it was like the CCP,
yeah, they just wouldn't give a fuck. They'd tell you what to say, what to think, and disappear you if you disagreed with them. That they still feel the need to fool people into following along with narratives and supporting them means that they still need it.
I'm gonna address this one real quick. Gunsight 1. I generally dislike politics. It all seems like blatant manipulation these days. Unfortunately, one needs to stay informed and educated on what is happening. I agreed. Sometimes I don't even like talking about politics because it just becomes a gigantic spiderweb of just fucking nonsense. But at the same time, sorry, politics has been around since society's been formed.
Honestly, even before that, this is the thing. Politics is far more than just the power of the reigning political parties. It is advertising. Now, people might say they hate advertising, and advertising is wrong, but they largely think of the commercials on television. But anytime you are trying to convince someone of the merits of an idea or product or method, you are advertising. Anytime you are trying to sell yourself as valuable is advertising. Like the way that I speak, the cadence of my voice, how I try to address chat, divide my attention, and put my ideologies in the best possible way. This is me advertising myself to you, the audience. I am the product. My personality and thoughts are what I am selling, and the presentation is the advertising. Politics are much the same way. The red pill, and just like any sort of idea, is political because you are trying to get a decent sized number of people to agree on certain actions and to put it in the best light. Wait.
I'm going to address this right quick. How can voting matter when they control the voting machines and counting? 20,000 fraudulent votes found in a single district. Hey, it's called the illusion. The illusion that you have a choice.
But here's the thing. They did not fabricate those numbers out of nowhere.
Agreed.
They did, they pulled a bunch of votes out, but those votes still had to be printed. They still had to do a shit. Why would they bother with ballot harvesting if voting didn't matter? Why would they need a whole bunch of illegals to vote a certain way? Why would they even need a population that supports them if they could just fabricate it? Yes, the machines were hacked, but they weren't hacked to just fabricate shit out of nowhere. They skewed the weight so that one vote was 0.75 of a vote and the other one was 1.3 of a vote. And so it was skewed a bit. And yes, there were a bunch that appeared out of fucking nowhere, and that was a sudden and unusual jump that raised a shit ton of eyebrows. When you tamper with the process in a way that the people can see, you lose the consent of the people. Do the people not have far less faith in the government right now than any other time during the history of America, specifically because of all the highly visible voting fuckery? You have to convince people that the elections are legitimate. And that's way easier to do by actually getting them to be legitimate than and gently massaging it. That was a big part of Trump and the Trump-Hillary thing. They did not expect the sheer volume of support that came for Trump. So their massaging methods to give it to Hillary were insufficient, and it was too late to undo it.
And like I said before, it's the illusion of choice. That's all it is. Because unlike the CCP, Capitol Hill isn't holding the country by the balls yet.
They're trying.
Point yet. Yeah, trying. Okay, so that's the difference. Yeah, you can vote. Yeah, it's legitimate, but it's the illusion that you have any type of influence or choice. They'll give you that, the rose-colored glasses, like, oh yeah, my vote matters. But like what Gray said, it's just massaging it a little bit, just swaying it just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, do you have any idea how difficult it is to outright fabricate the election results? How many people you need to get on board? To do what they did, which was to fabricate, yes, a shit ton of votes. The amount of hurdles that they had to jump through because there's so many checks and balances and monitoring that they had to interfere with and sabotage. And keep in mind, beyond that, there's more elections than just state elections and federal elections. Do you have any idea how fucking difficult and complicated it would be to be actively controlling every single school board election, every single judge election, every single municipal or whatever the equivalent is in the U.S. election.
County?
County, yes. Yeah, county would probably be the proper term. There's a shit ton of elections going on at so many levels at all times, many of which will affect a person's day-to-day life far more than the relatively rare midterms or federal elections for the president.
And gentlemen, we need to keep it real. If the U.S. outright just said, yeah, I'm still in charge, I'm not leaving office, that's automatic civil war or revolution on the spot. So, of course, they're not going to directly say, like, yeah, I'm in power for life.
I think, like, if they actually went openly full-on tyranny, enough Americans would rise up at that point. They need to continue feeding out the illusion that it can still be changed through a peaceful, all you have to do is vote process. They need to keep that illusion up until they have completely secured power, and they don't have that yet. Because they know that if the US fucking revolted now with what it has, they wouldn't be able to sustain themselves. Look at how much they were shitting themselves over January 6th, and that was their fucking idea to begin with.
Agreed. Imagine all the military coups that would be happening. Imagine all the, especially the southern states, all the people gathering arms, arming themselves.
Imagine if January 6th was as peaceful as BLM.
Oh gee, oh Lord. Oh man, that would be bad. That would be bad, especially
there'd be bodies. Like, there would actually be politicians' bodies if that was the case. And the White House would probably be burned down a second time.
And gentlemen, have you ever seen a military coup before? It gets bloody. I'm telling you, it is not a good situation. It's not a good situation for the people in power. Because a military coup literally means that it's either there's going to be some direct leadership within the military, or the military is trying to take over the government and be in power. Because they just don't have any faith in the government anymore.
And that's the thing. The people's faith in the government is what keeps the government going. Like, there's so many people who are, they're delusional because they're refusing to see shit right now. But when they can no longer ignore the delusion due to pain, then they will act. I mean, you can look at the New York police force right now. Record levels of retiring and resignation because they're sick of the politics. That's not going to be good for New York and its citizens.
What's the biggest issue? Like the city with the issues? I think it's in Minnesota. What was it? It's the one where literally cops in masses left the force. Like is it Indianapolis? I forgot the city, but it's bad. It's getting very lawless over there because of the sheer amount of cops are saying, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore because my hands are tied and thugs are literally trying to assassinate me at work. I'm sure you guys saw the videos of criminals and thugs and all these gangsters running up on a police car and unloading the clip. They have no fear. They have no discipline. They don't fear the consequences of the justice system anymore. And now it's become the lawless land. Not just in that city, but also obviously New York, right? Everybody's talking about New York right now. It's getting pretty bad right now. So
it's not going to get better anytime soon. It's going to get way fucking worse. But there's no corrective action that doesn't involve the politicians being driven, rooted out from the ground. Even if you rooted out the politicians today. You think all these cops that resigned or like just retired are going to come back? No, you got to rehire and retrain them all. This is something that cannot be fixed quickly at all.
Agreed. Like there was a huge job seminar in Seattle of the police department. I think it was 2-3 years ago. They were very desperate to get more officers to the point where they dropped the requirement of having a degree, and you will be paid $70,000 starting pay.
And here's the other problem too: because they get more desperate, they lower the requirements. You're going to get worse cops and more corrupt cops into a system that's already being incompetent and corrupt to begin with.
Completely agree. It's not and here's what I'm trying to drive into. Gentlemen, the red pill is not, oh, let's just talk about female nature. Listen, at this point, we literally talked about every fucking thing about the female nature, in my opinion. We've been talking about this shit since 2013.
To be fair, I think there's still a lot more neurology to dive into, but that's just
true.
Me.
True, at least the general knowledge.
Yeah, like the obvious shit that's all over fucking Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like that stuff's been done to death, and there's literally hours of content rehashing the exact same stuff coming out every single day on dozens of channels. The market for female nature and fuckery is fucking oversaturated now.
I completely agree. And there's quick side note. Gentlemen, you can clearly see who is truly trying to help the betterment of men. You can clearly see just by the content. If you see just nothing but TikTok videos of ass and titties and a shit ton of ads that they add for the monetization, you really believe that they're for you? Hell no. Do you know how many different topics that we talked on this channel? It's not even funny. I forgot half of the topics. Like seriously.
Dude, I honestly, it'll be like I'll fucking drop something that is profound. I'm like, I have no idea how I fucking came that. That was a spur of the moment alchemical creation, and guaranteed I'm gonna fucking forget it in 5 minutes. So I hope that someone was paying attention.
Agreed. And once again, gentlemen, and this is where I say politics come in to play, in the sense of, we said this countless times before, whenever there's a group of men coming together to discuss current issues or ideals or ideologies or solutions to what's happening in their community or society, that's not what the government wants in 2022. That's not what feminists wants in 2022. This is one of the only places now, to my knowledge, where men can actually get together and speak about serious issues and not talk about fucking stupid shit that a woman watch, such as Bridezilla or Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
And we're trying to find things that are actually somewhat applicable in day-to-day life. Because we can wax poetic about the philosophy and the grander things, but at the end of the day, if all of this knowledge can't be applied in some way to benefit you, it's really just trivia. So,
yes.
Looking at these consequences in New York, this is probably going to apply to other cities. This is shit that you'll need to be watching. If you're anywhere in or around New York and you haven't gotten out, try to work on that as soon as you can. Because shit's going bad. But trying to find some ways to get information out that's actually useful and can help and can be acted on. If it can't be acted on, then it's not really useful information. It's just trivia.
I agree. And gentlemen, you already know. I don't have all the answers. Gray doesn't have, nobody has all the answers, which is why you see me often when I hear other people's perspectives, or if Gray has to take a step further to actually dive into the details, to actually get the meat to the potatoes, I'm willing to change my mind. I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. This is why, gentlemen, even sometimes I don't have the answer. This is why at times I come on here to talk to you guys, to see what you guys have to say. I'm just saying, gentlemen, they don't want us to speak to each other and exchange ideas and all that. I'm telling you, they despise it, and it won't be long. I'm telling you, it will not be long until channels like this are going to be under attack. The all male clubs are all gone for the most part. I think the last ones are like what, golf clubs or some clubs in the UK. That's it.
Well,
and when it comes to the Western world.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's kind of fortunate that there's so much manosphere stuff that isn't related to this. It's a blessing and a curse, because on one hand, it's more difficult to gather like the kind of people that we really need together to talk about this stuff and get the information, because you got to actually reach them, and between channel suppressing and a ton of distractions, it's hard. But on the other hand, it acts as a smokescreen, because if the powers that be don't think that channels like this are a serious threat, or that they're not getting the views that are necessary, or they even just don't think they exist because they too are distracted by the shit ton of manosphere channels that are just talking about female fuckery, well, that's good, because it gives a bit of cover.
Okay. A MGTOW bandit. I like you, but you and Gray can be a little bit strong-headed at times. What? So you expect me to be an agreeable person? Until I hear some legitimate points and legitimate perspectives, I'm not going to change my mind.
It's like, strong-headed. Like, what do you want from me? I've come to the conclusions that I've come to through extensive logical analysis. Someone can't just present an opposing opinion and have me agree to it. You've got to defeat the logic behind my agreement for me to change my mind. I'm not going to do it just for some kind of social approval from a rando on the internet.
Agreed. What happened this morning, if you were there this morning watching the stream, I don't blame Gray and I don't blame Cesspool. They both are very, how do I say, they will still stand their ground when it comes to their point of view. And I don't blame them. But Gray, I don't blame him either when it comes to his questions. Because it's the inconsistency, like what Gray said, when it comes to the argument that I heard this morning. It was not consistent whatsoever. Why would I just throw my hands up like, oh, okay, you're right, we're wrong. Oh, my bad. Fuck the generations. It's the small hats up there. You know, it's all their fault. We won't hold any generation responsible. That's my bad.
And that's the thing, and that's if that was even what he wanted, because a good chunk of it was me trying to figure out what he even wanted me to say there, and I couldn't get a straight answer out of him. So, like, that's particularly frustrating, because I don't think that we should be disagreeing to this extent about stuff.
Agreed.
And it's quite frustrating that it's even gotten to this point, that we've hit this weird sort of impasse. I'm trying to figure out where the impasse is, and the only conclusions that I've come to aren't ones that I particularly like. Like, not because like they're wrong, but because it would mean that I'd have to lose respect for someone that I don't want to lose respect for.
Agreed. And once again, this happens all the time when a group of men gets together. When there's two points of views that they feel very strong about, it's going to get riled up. It's going to get heated. But you know,
and it may just be something that requires a bit of space to cool down, like let the emotions settle, reanalyze from a more logical standpoint, and then come back to it with clearer heads, and the solution will present itself. There's tons of problems that can be solved with a good night's sleep and a bit of emotional distance.
Like, gentlemen, we get into detail about that trend that happened 3 years ago of water is wet.
I love that one.
Men scream at each other's faces. Like I'm telling, like, we can't help it. It's like logical, rational reasoning. If it doesn't make any sense, we're going to challenge it, and we will like directly in your face challenge, like, you're wrong. You know, that's just in our nature. Water is wet. Water is not red. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, bro, water is wet. You know, it just gets up there. And if you have a good amount of good friends, or a good amount of not good friends, good male friends, or a good amount of good male family members, and you guys have these type of conversations, like, I'm telling you, gentlemen, we get all philosophical, logical, rational about the stupidest shit sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
We just can't help it.
That's the thing. Like, you can't help it necessarily in the moment. Like, and it is in those moments where we'll start to behave like women do, because yes, our logic and our emotions are firing at the same time. The difference is we can get some space, cool off, and then come back to it later with a more rational head point.
Agreed. And where'd he go? MGTOW Bandit. We're not coming at you. We just explained to you how you probably say that we are hard-headed. Like, I see why you could say that, you know, that we're hard-headed, but at the same time, I'm not just gonna just lay on my back and say, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, the sky's purple. That's not gonna happen. That's never gonna, until you give me some legitimate reasons or legitimate evidence, data, survey. Yeah, show me the stats type person. Show me something that will show me that I am inconsistent with my views. Until you show me that, I'm not changing it.
Yeah, at the very least, need more information to add to it. And heck, I might not even necessarily go with it at the moment, but then it will require some analysis. So I need to be sent information, if not logic.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. Which is why I say, gentlemen, yeah, it gets heated all the time, you know, but I will say Gray, for the most part, kept his cool, because he didn't go for personal insults. He was truly trying to get to the bottom of the situation, and that's how it should be. Why would I have to be all nice and cutesy and caring? Like, no. Tell me why you think the way that you think. Tell it to my face right now. And if I say that you're wrong, prove me that I'm wrong. And if you can't, you're wrong.
You know, well, that's the thing. And no, but actually, that's slight misconception there. If someone can't prove that you're wrong, or they can't prove themselves right, they might not necessarily be wrong, but they don't have the proof.
So you can just go there and say, "Hey, show me the proof," or like,
that's the, you know, if you are like, if you find yourself with insufficient proof, but you still believe you are correct, you go and you find the proof, you find the evidence, and you strengthen your argument.
Agreed. Like, yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing I say. Like, yeah, go do more research, do what you got to do, and bring me back the evidence if need be. Like
honestly, after the last talk with Cesspool, I'm really thinking I need to go get some statistics, get some numbers, and get some timelines of legal issues in order to make the case for why I'm being so insistent on this. I need to actually get some stats because I don't think that me just arguing off the cuff is going to be sufficient to resolve this.
Agreed. I'm going to address this super chat right quick. Brad, thank you for the generous $5 donation. All right. I definitely appreciate it, man. Can we all just get along? Yes, we can all get along. But at the same time,
all of us? No, straight up, no. We can't all get along.
Saying, like, we have the capability of getting along. Okay, I can say that. But it doesn't mean that I have to agree with what you stand for. I don't have to agree with your opinion. I don't have to agree with your values and ethics and morals and stuff. I don't have to. Like, it is what it is. That's okay. That is okay. It is okay to have a different mindset, but at least have that mindset. Have the mindset that has a legitimate backing. Not just off of feelings and I didn't hear it from other people, so you're wrong. I'm right.
That's the thing. Like you can go into the arena with whatever weapon you want, but if you go in with a fucking dildo and your opponent's got a steel longsword, you're probably gonna walk away with a couple extra scars and probably a dildo up your ass. If you walk away at all.
Yeah, you probably have no. What's it called? It's just a flesh wound.
I think at that point it's some emotional damage.
But very Benjamin life. I order a Ribby Party Frog shirt tonight. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Warband merch.
Fuck yeah. Honestly, I never really thought about Warband merch. I maybe I should think about doing that.
Honestly, I think your flaming skull on a t-shirt, I could see that going over pretty well.
Bro, I'll be so nervous, seeing, people walk around my avatar. I'm like, oh, y'all don't know that's me. I recognize your voice. No, you don't.
No, you gotta kick yourself in the balls. Go, no, I don't. No, you don't recognize my voice. Oh,
I have to go with the Australian accent or something. Fucking, it'd be great. But yeah, gentlemen, actually, before we continue, I'll let you guys know when it comes to the merch thing, and plus I can also do the membership thing as well. But what am I gonna do with the membership? Like, see, that's the biggest thing. I don't want to gatekeep stuff unless it's like quality, and it'll be cheap as fuck. Like what, $1, $2?
Honestly, merch is probably a better income revenue because then the money doesn't necessarily go through Susan and can't be cut off all at once.
Agreed. And once again, I thought about the membership here and there. I'm like, you know what? That's pretty fucking lame that, I'll gatekeep anything from my boys. So that's why I have not done the, oh yeah, pay $5 a month if you want to see anything exclusive. No, that doesn't help men whatsoever. Even if it's just you guys watching me and Gray play video games, and we will get there eventually. Just hold on with just wait. Just wait a little bit longer, chat. I'm not gonna paywall you guys. I think it's pretty dumb. But see, that's the biggest thing. I really believe that we need to grow beyond female nature, because we got to the point where that knowledge is so common. Why do we need to explain that shit over and over and over again?
Like, let's be honest. Female nature hit saturation point when PewDiePie said simp.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny.
But that's the thing. Like, now that simp and she's for the streets have entered the cultural lexicon and are being repeated by children a third my age and younger, like, okay, the kids know.
I agree.
Like, the only people in denial right now are either married or really fucking horny.
I completely agree. So what I'm saying at this point, whether you believe that the politics should be in Red Pill or not, why do you think that the Red Pill knowledge stays there? Because let's go to the original definition from the Matrix. The Red Pill is just pretty much open up your eyes to what is.
Like the truth. Like the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Like, I'm actually gonna look up the exact quote.
Yeah, I watched the movie like 200 times and I forgot the damn quote. Damn you, Morpheus.
That was a damn good scene, though.
It was. We're not forcing you guys to take the Red Pill. We're not forcing you to take the ideology.
Straight up. So here it is. And I quote, "You take the Red Pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more."
And that's one of my all-time favorite quotes, along with Muhammad Ali. He perfectly explained what the Red Pill is for men in today's society. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
I'd have to know the exact quote from Muhammad Ali that says that.
Oh, no. Remember the quote I said a couple streams ago, or last stream, about the if you have the same mindset from 20 to 50 years old, you waste years of your life?
Yes, I definitely agree with that, because like, that's something that I found frustrating. There's a bunch of people, they think that they are wise simply because they are old.
That's the worst. Oh my god. That is the worst. Man, I'm getting triggered. I completely agree with you, Gray, but I'm getting triggered. No, gentlemen, you know how many times I have to deal with these old fucks thinking that they know it all, yet they don't even know how to operate a goddamn flip phone.
It's been frustrating, because you want to be able to, learn from age and wisdom, but if someone has been, like, if they peaked at like 30 or like mid 30s and then spent the next 20 years just focusing on grinding out cash and caring nothing for anything else that's going on, never trying to learn anything new, and then they excuse the behavior with something like, well, I'm an old dog and I can't learn new tricks.
Oh, that stupid fucking quote. Okay.
Which factually false, but that's the thing. It's like, there's always new shit to learn. Like honestly, as a kid, one of the quotes that stuck with me most was from The Lion King, in the opening song. "There's more to see than can ever be seen. There's more to do than can ever be done."
You have a question. John Doe, what is wisdom, experience, knowledge, and good judgment? Guess what newbie, you can't have wisdom without experience.
If I played the exact same fucking video game for 30 years, that doesn't mean I understand video games in depth. It means I understand one fucking video game.
Exactly. It's like a person that plays, and I will say, yes, I'm gonna say their names. OGs actually, Optic or Phase, the ones that played Call of Duty till this day, right? 15 years and counting, and they switch over to World of Warcraft.
They don't know. Are they like because maybe they've been gaming longer than someone who started playing World of Warcraft 6 months prior, but that person's got more time in World of Warcraft than they do and probably knows the game inside, outside, upside down. If you don't just because you're older doesn't mean you have more experience. Many people, they get into a comfortable rut and they don't seek out new experiences because they're uncomfortable and constantly retreat back to the same old comfortable space. How are you going to gain experience if you never try anything new and just grind away at what's easy?
Agreed. It's like what me and Gray does. I will say with utmost confidence. We don't stick with just one genre of gaming. We play everything. Everything. Like there's so many games that we haven't even touched yet, but we ain't gonna say no, especially if there's good deals on Steam. Like, okay, I'm gonna try this game out. I'm gonna try this game out. Oh, I never really played this puzzle game, but let me try that game out. That's the point. You got to be able to broaden your horizons.
Yeah, like you got to try different things. And Desperado Dave, you want someone who's experienced and old. Look at a man who's been on his own and had to pay his own way the whole time. No, not necessarily. You could be at the same fucking factory job, paying your own way, doing the same fucking thing for 30 goddamn years. That doesn't mean you're experienced. If you want someone who's experienced, you want someone who's had a fucking unstable life, who has had to do a shit ton of new things and hasn't been able to do the exact same stuff for more than a couple years at a time.
Do you want me to give you an example? He's a celebrity, but can I say one example?
Yeah, shoot.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's very
has done so many fucking things. And once again, and I'm quoting this from Bill Burr. He came from a different country. Then he became famous in lifting weights. Then he became a movie star. Then he technically married to royalty when he married a Kennedy. Then he became the governor of fucking California. And he's still going. Like, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to having a plethora of experience.
Now here's the a very Benjamin life. Well, I see your point, but when you get substantive property to live in and a good job, you feel like maybe you don't need to go searching for brave new learnings.
Great.
That's
Before I continue, I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute.
All right. Well, I'll just give my response to this. So, no, and I get that. And that's not necessary. And I don't mean to knock the people who are able to find that kind of stability, but it does kill the amount of experience and growth that you can successfully pass on, because you need to constantly be updating yourself. If you found a stable rut to be in, yeah, you can make that work for you and you can be very happy and provide a safe life. But if someone is going to ask you relevant questions, you get a bunch of these situations now where you give advice that hasn't been relevant for decades. And I see a lot of learning from others versus trial and error. There's a bunch of shit that you just can't learn from someone else because the problems didn't exist before. At best, you can find some kind of guiding principles to operate with and some basic guidelines. But you can't ask someone who's never had a smartphone how to operate a smartphone.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah. So yeah, just went on just want a bit of explanation there that like a person can reach a stable lifestyle and have a bunch of stuff that they want to protect and don't want to subject to chaos in the name of experience because they found stability. And that's fine, but that limits the usefulness of their advice because the further detached they are from trying these new things, the less useful their advice is going to be in a more modern era. And especially in the modern era. Like if we go back, say, 3-4 centuries, life did not significantly change after 20, 30 years. Nowadays, though, information that's 20 years old is fucking irrelevant. Like, who the hell even knows what a VCR is these days? You've got kids growing up who are legal. You have legal adults now who have never known a time in their life prior to 9/11.
Oh my God, I'm feeling old. Fuck. Okay. Oh, I remember 9/11. That's damn. I am feeling old.
Yeah. Okay. Like, sorry, John Doe. Young minds are always looking for a new way. Old minds are always listening to others to avoid mistakes. No, they're fucking not. Old minds do not listen to new people to find ways to avoid mistakes. They might listen to people older than them or people their same age, but they aren't listening to young people to learn about fucking pitfalls. Maybe some are, a lot aren't.
Young minds are looking for a new way. Yeah, we don't have a choice. There's a good amount of elderly people that doesn't even give a fuck. So we got to find our own way.
When an old person gives you advice, you try it, it doesn't work. Like, do you just keep using the same advice that didn't work, or do you try to figure something else out? And with so many changing factors, the advice of the elderly is less and less relevant with each year, especially if that elder is not constantly trying to update themselves as well. How many of these people... Like, it's funny, like, they tell you, like, hit the brick, get your resume and go hit the bricks. It's like, you haven't been on a job hunt since 1992. What do you know about finding work?
Agreed. I'm a caveat on that. Especially the Gen Xers. Yeah, I'm bringing it back around that time because right now they're in their 40s, 50s now.
Yeah, around there.
Y'all haven't been on the dating scene since 1990 or 80 something. Okay. How are you going to tell me how to operate in today's dating market? It completely changed. Completely changed. Tell me that you dealt with a woman that's had access with men around the world. I just had to put that out there. That was just a caveat.
Yeah, John Doe. My boomer dad is 80 and more tech savvy than most kids today. My dad designed laser communication between satellites in the 80s. Today is not as unique. Does he know what... Yeah, and that's good. Okay, tech savvy designed laser satellites. Yeah, he's like what? 0.01% of the boomer population? It's not like boomers were massively designing tech satellites. And as for tech not being it, it's like, okay, like, sure, maybe he's savvy in that kind of tech. Does he know how the algorithm works and how engagement works on YouTube?
And on top of that, is he willing to give advice to the younger ones that's dealing with certain type of technology? Because I know there's at least a good amount of technologies that is still applicable today, or a certain set of rules or a certain set of tools that they may need to use. Something. Just something. He may not be right, but advice on something. What does this say? I am Gen X 53 and listen and laugh at most of these young MGTOWs and how special they think they are. I was 40 and had a 24-year-old. John Doe, you're not getting the point. You're not getting the point whatsoever. They don't want... Do you really think these young men want to be MGTOW? Do you really believe that these young men... This isn't...
Like, that's the thing. You posting this stuff is not making you seem more intelligent. It's only making you seem less in touch with what the fuck's going on. which is exactly the point we're making here. You don't know what the hell's going on. So you're projecting your own experiences and values onto the younger people rather than listening to them and trying to understand what the hell's going on and where they're coming from.
Exactly. It's crazy how you believe that you think that men that decides to walk away from a system that's currently abusing them to the fucking max. You see that you think you're special, aren't you? You think you're special? See, that's what Gray was talking about earlier when it comes to the boomers, and I'll say a little bit of the Gen X, thinking that they're holier than thou, thinking that they're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, if we had a nuclear war and a ton of EMPs that we need to rebuild microelectric fabs, the older boomers would be most useful. Actually, anyone who worked on satellite communications arrays would be useful. The 80-year-old boomer, yeah, sure. And I'm sure that there's some Gen Xers and millennials, and there's probably even a couple Zoomers out there that have researched that kind of tech. There are people who work in laser communications in every generation. The boomers are not, they don't have a monopoly on the technology.
Gray, I'm going to address this right quick. Mount High Ronin. The generational war is what topples all great communities in thought. Tribal warfare brought to you by the elites. I'm sick and fucking tired of people absolving any type of responsibility of all generations to, it's the elite. It's the elite. Ooh.
Well, guess what? We can't do shit about the elites. And we're not going to get anywhere by just blaming it on the elites, because you're not offering any solutions. You're not offering any reason to do this. There's no benefit to stopping this. You just basically don't want any fucking smoke. Give some alternative. Give some alternate pathway. Give something beyond just stop yelling at me and being mean. No, I'm going to fucking divide up everyone's if I could, I would divide every single individual person's fuck ups and tackle each one personally with the same level of venom. But I don't know every single one personally, so I have to take the broader stereotypes and generational practices. Enough of this fucking stop dividing us up by warfare. The fucking blacks have different problems than the whites, have different problems than the Asians, have different problems than the Mexicans. It's fucking different. Stop acting like treating everybody the same is going to fix anything.
If I was omnipresent, I would definitely address individual problems. So John Doe, no, what my point is that you don't want to listen. You want to say older people are disconnected, but then listen to things like Vince and MGTOW. So Vince and MGTOW actually has some good fucking advice. That's the difference.
That's the thing. I don't fucking say no old people have good advice. Someone has a fucking brain on their head, is willing to listen and is willing to speak, then I listen to them. I don't give someone a pass because they're old, and I don't deny someone because they're old. Same with young. If someone young has something smart to say, I listen. Someone young speaking like a dumbass, I think they're a dumbass.
See, I don't think people like this understand general terms. We're not saying 100% of the boomers and Gen X are fucking horrible people, blah, blah, blah. We're not even saying they're horrible people. We're just...
This is the same kind of simp fucking bullshit that people are like, not all women are like that. Stop being so mean. Don't be so critical. It's the same bullshit. This is not all boomers are like that. Not all Gen Xers are like that. So you have to stop criticizing them as a general thing. No, fuck you. We're here to fucking criticize, and we're gonna fucking criticize. And if you happen to get caught up in that shit, or people you like get caught up in that shit, don't take it fucking personally and get some thicker skin.
In my opinion, if the shoe fits, that's all I gotta say.
And it may, and you know what? If it pisses you that off that much, maybe it's because it does actually fucking fit you.
Agreed. And how are you going to bring Vince and MGTOW in this fucking conversation? I think that's highly disrespectful. I'm almost a fucking offended, because he actually gave a fuck about the future generations, unlike the majority of motherfuckers out there. There are boomers and Gen X. he actually gave a fuck. He actually gave some very solid information for years. Ever since I can remember, ever since I was in high school in the early 2010s. The audacity you bring Venture makes out like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all don't want to see. I'm telling you, man. Y'all don't want to see angry Yeetus. It's the audacity of these motherfuckers. The audacity. How dare you think that you're holier than thou and bring Venture MGTOW like he doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know what he was talking. Go look through all of his fucking videos. Every single video, he actually has some gems. Similar to what us young people that talk about male issues, like me and Gray, Ribby, Chronic, fucking Riker, Ribby. I'm gonna say Ribby again because I love his roast. We have some very knowledgeable shit to say. But here's you trying to fucking brush us off like, oh, you don't want to listen. Oh, you want to do this. You don't want to do that. Oh, you listen to Venture MGTOW, so your point is invalid. The fact that you brought up Venture MGTOW completely disapproves your entire argument.
And it's always speaking in generalities. Always these broad, non-committal, non-specific bullshit. And then they're trying to counter and say that an entire generation doesn't do something because they know one person who's a family member. That's the same fucking argument as like, the wall doesn't exist. Fertility doesn't expire with age. My grandmother was still having healthy kids at 45. So there, your entire argument and scientific information is disproven. This is how a woman fucking argues. This is bitch think.
Definitely bitch think. I really believe that. There's no way I'm going to have some old head come on to my fucking channel and think that he knows more than me of what's going on out here when it comes to current events. Get the fuck out.
And if you're going to come here with that, you better bring the fucking information and facts to back that up. No fucking hyperbole. Please
do. But MGTOW podcast, developed thick skin says a skeleton. I didn't say that.
No, that was me, the ghost, who's got even thinner material than the skeleton.
I swear, producer Tim, he's really he's on his trolling.
I think he's competing with Carry On for who's the best Warband troll.
Like seriously. Oh shit. But I'm gentlemen, this is what we were talking about when it comes to the generational flaws. And to reiterate once again, we go after every single generation and their flaws. That's it. I
spent like how many hours ripping into Zoomers not Zoomers, like millennials this morning?
Oh man, almost like 3 hours actually, was it?
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours of tearing into millennials. All right.
Yeah. It's like you act like that my entire 2 streams I was just going after boomers or Gen X. Gen X I spent the least time on actually.
Like seriously, I honestly don't know enough of what they did one way or another in order to say, well, this is what you needed, this is where you fucked up, and this is how you can fix it now.
You truly
like
don't know
aside from them being simps and fucking up and raising their kids and being somewhat negligent, like to all the current bullshit, maybe being far too soft on their kids, like that's really all that I'm aware of that Gen X is fucking up. And many of those criticisms can be applied to millennial parents as well.
Agreed. Very Benjamin life. Okay, but where are the real goal and solutions? Here's the thing.
Okay. No, that's very consistent. Like if we want to know goals and solutions, the goal is to disrupt the existing system to the point where it collapses and can be rebuilt so that this power structure of control from the top down can be dealt with. To that end, people of all generations need to strive for self-sufficiency in order to survive the coming collapse, because and conflict that will arise from it. On the
thing.
boomers' end, personally, I want them to stop putting their children and grandchildren in debt via taxes, stop going on fucking vacations, and instead save their money to pay for all the bullshit that is coming down the line. I'm not even saying, hey, hand over your money and inherit shit. But if you're not at least passing on your knowledge to people who can make better use of it than your aging ass, then what the fuck good are you? If you're just out here...
Right, you're wrong. You're wrong. Remember? You're wrong.
Oh.
You know? It's elites.
It's the what? Right. It's the elites. The boomers get to do whatever the fuck they want and fuck everybody else because they're not responsible for shit because the elites brainwashed them. And so they absolutely should be able to put every successive generation in debt and fuck up the economy, and they should be praised because they're not at fault for shit.
But when we ask the question, okay, so is every generation absolved from responsibility because it's the elite's fault the entire time from 1960 or 50s to 2022? It was all the elite's fault? No, there should be responsibility. Okay, which one is it?
It's based. Yeah, like the only argument I'm hearing here is that every generation is at fault but mine.
Which is not how we do things when it comes to holding people accountable. That's not how we do things. The fact that I went in more on the millennials than the boomers should tell you a lot. I'm willing to hold my generation accountable way more than the boomers, even though the boomers, in my opinion, financially caused the most damage.
They had the most power. Like, let's be honest. If millennials outnumbered and had out-earned the boomers, and they were the ones with the massive voting population and a shit ton of cash right now, oh yeah, I'd be pointing my fingers at the fucking millennials and throttling them. More so than I already do.
MGTOW podcast. I feel like Angry Yeetus is about as harmful to people as a Portland feminist. Nah, okay, producer.
Yeah, you better say that safe up in Canada, man.
I am just as dangerous a person that's 800 meters away. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, producer Tim. If that was an Angry Yeetus, if I truly was an Angry Yeetus, going around being a punisher, trying to hold, boomers and Gen X accountable, going after old people. You fucked up the economy. Just like beat that.
No, and here's the very practical reason why boomers should really focus on being more self-sufficient. Like, assuming that they're not all going to die of sudden adult death syndrome that is totally not related to any recent medical procedures. But, because here's the thing, if they expect to live for another 15 to 20 years, then they're going to need all that money to pay for their home care or to get into a decent nursing home. Because otherwise, they're going to be in some bottom of the barrel shit because their fucking kids and grandkids aren't going to like them very much. And and their kids and grandkids aren't going to have the extra money and housing and resources to look after their ancient asses.
Guaranteed. And what if the value of the dollar goes to zero? Or,
what if the Social Security stops coming in because the government can't pay it anymore? What the hell are the boomers going to do then? They have no savings. They're going to have to liquidate all of their assets and live like absolute fucking garbage. And then they're going to regret going to Hawaii twice a year for the past decade.
Hey, I'm sorry, bro. He's like trying so hard. I bet you just has no clue how far away 800 meters is.
Fucking metric system.
Oh my god. You don't know how to spell meters. What is metress? What is that?
No. The thing is, that is the Canadian spelling for meters.
Oh damn! I feel like
it's kind of like It's like center and center. It's the same deal. Right, ER is the American, RE is Canadian and British.
I take it back. I feel okay. I was about to go in on the
game. No, he's not wrong. He's just Canadian.
Oh shit! Producing something else, but okay. I'm gonna ask you this question so we can definitely bring it all together. Do you see the red pill? How do I say? Can you talk about the red pill or put politics into the red pill besides women? Like, can you not talk about politics if you go outside the realm of female nature?
Even just staying within female nature, you can't really escape politics. But just give me a second. I'm actually going to think if there's a way.
Okay, because once again, gentlemen, feminism, it's in itself huge political influence. Let
me put it this way. You have to be you'd have to be so young that employment, housing, and security are not relevant to you. That's the only way that the red pill topics relevant to your life would not broach into politics. Basically, you'd have to be a teenager living at home with your parents.
Yeah, which a lot of our messages for the last couple of years have been reaching these youngsters.
Yeah. So for them, I can understand how it might not be necessarily useful in the moment. Or at least not appear useful, but even then, understanding the shifting of the job market and the political pressures upon it, even if they're not going to do anything to actively change it, they can better prepare. I guess the only thing at the other end would be if you're so fucking old that you've retired and you've got enough money that you don't really need to worry about whether or not everything's going to shit. But if that's the case, then you really don't need the red pill anyway. You may as well just live in your delusion for what remains of your life.
Agreed. What the current events that's happening right now in society, especially when it comes to the changing of the government policies and the politics in general, the working class are the most affected, whether you want to admit it or not. The working class, I mean the people that are of age, that are still young, still fit, ready to go, and whatever happens, I'm talking about not just working, but being responsible for creating the next generation through hitting that puniti and creating a family. We are the most affected. The youngest Gen X are still affected per se. You think that the Roe versus Wade is going to affect the old fucks, Gen X and boomers? You think the Roe versus Wade at the moment is going to affect the younger Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas?
Well, no. Maybe some of them, but...
Well, okay, some of them. But
yeah, like the ones who fucking knock up their high school sweetheart or whatever. But
yeah, they're stupid. But they're going to mainly affect us millennials. And you see what's going on out there in society today. How can you not intertwine politics with the red pill? The red pill in itself, the definition in itself involves politics. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Honestly, thinking about it, yeah, the millennials really would be the ones that have to be the most politically involved nowadays, because they are the ones who are in the cusp. Like, even older Gen Z, like if you're at the age to go to, if you're old enough to go to college and young enough that you can't consider retirement, then yeah, you kind of need to understand the politics of the current situation.
I completely agree. I agree 1,000,000%. But once again, there's plenty of people out there, mainly boomers and Gen X, can't comprehend what's going on right now. They just can't. They're not the ones that are getting their hands dirty anymore. We have to pick up their slack. And it's not going well because we still got boomers putting us into debt.
Well, and that's the other thing, because the boomers, they are still a major voting bloc. The consent of the boomers is still needed for policy to pass. So what are they doing? Well, they're voting for all this extra health care, all this extra shit that is relevant to them. Like, the amount of crap that I have heard put out on the radio these days, which is really the only regular news source I even listen to, and even that's just because of work. There's a lot of pressure to make better nursing homes, staff nursing homes with better people, do more audits for nursing homes. Where's the money for that coming from?
Them taxes.
Yeah, because it's public nursing homes, government interference. This isn't about regulating private nursing homes. It's about improving the quality of life in public ones. Guess which fucking age group is going to find nursing homes very relevant over the next 15 to 20 years?
Boomers and Gen X.
And who's going to fucking pay for that shit?
Millennials and Gen Z.
And so, you know what? It'd be nice if they'd stop going on fucking vacations and just pay for a private nursing home with the money that they saved, like they keep telling the young people to do, rather than spending all the young people's money and going on vacations with their savings. You know, which vacations, what the fuck are they getting out of that aside from temporary enjoyment? Honestly, you may as well just get them fucking crack and have them shoot that shit up.
Oh shit. In my opinion, that's probably going to be less expensive. Yeah.
It'd be less expensive, and then if they fucking OD, at least they went out happy. It's better than having someone wipe your ass for 5 years as you drool everywhere and can barely remember anything.
But at least they're in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, well, fucking crack will send you to the moon, and it's cheaper.
Oh shit. But I'm gonna address this super chat. Silas, thank you for the $2 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. People under 30 years old should only get half a vote. I completely disagree.
I disagree with that particular metric, but because you know what? Here's the thing. I disagree with it because it means that all the useless fucking eaters over 30 still get a full vote.
Yes, because once
that restriction doesn't go far enough.
Right. The boomers are still in charge. So this is pretty irrelevant in my opinion. And I think it would just make things so much worse.
Like, let me put it this way. If you don't give the 18 plus people a full vote, like, guess what's going to happen? They're going to give even less of a fuck than they already do about the system. And they're going to do their damnedest to fucking mooch off of it. And pay less taxes into it.
Yeah,
because what's going to happen? Because what's going to happen? Like, if the over 30 demographic gets more of the vote, they're going to put more tax pressure on the younger generation, and the younger generation is going to go, fuck this shit. I'm going to wait until I pass 30 years old and can actually be a full citizen before I actually try to get my career together. And that's going to be pretty fucking bad for all those older people who need that tax revenue and a whole bunch of skilled young people to do shit for them.
Agreed. Once again, if I was 18 years old and you tell me I have a half a vote compared to a person that's 30 years old or older, why would I go and fight and die for my country if my vote is worth less than a person that never even went to war. Why would I go and bust my ass for the next 12 years when my vote is worth half of the people that's 30 years old older? It doesn't make like it's pretty much saying that a teacher goes up to a student and say, hey, yeah, I know you bust your butt, but no matter what happens, you're going to get a D minus.
Yeah. And then so I was like, if you're trying to say like, oh, have children pay taxes, but I'd be too conscientious. You honestly think that the government has any fucking incentive to give it to to give half a vote to the under 30 demographic? They need the most young and impressionable and naive minds to advance their progressive policies. If you're looking at fucking practical and what might actually be implemented, your idea is fucking impossible. And if you're looking at what might actually benefit society as a whole, your idea is fucking stupid.
Once again, hey, no personal attacks. We're just keeping it real. That is not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything about your intelligence. You at least made a decent sounding argument. I'm attacking the idea of being stupid. And I'm trying to justify that with an explanation as to the consequences of it.
Agreed. But we have a comment from Good Mother. Are you talking about boomers as a whole, or the feminist boomers who listen to the idiotic younger feminists because in group preferences? No. This is, in my opinion, Good Mother, this is completely backwards. Like,
yeah, you think that the older women are listening to the younger women and not the older women are corrupting the younger women?
Yeah, this is not correct.
It's not the fucking kids today telling older women to completely fuck up their lives and throw away their families. It's the older women telling the younger women to be slurs and murder their fucking pair bonding and go to college and rack up 6-figure debt and a 4-figure body count.
Agreed. Divorce got very popular in the 1950s, if you didn't know that, Good Mother. That's when it started to boom. And they just gradually just starting to get worse. And
you might be able to point to individual incidents of a good and decent housewife making younger friends and getting corrupted by them, but that's not the general rule of how everything goes. That's a specific story, but is statistically insignificant in the grander scheme of whom influences whom.
It's usually an older, divorced, middle-aged lady that can't cope with the situation that she probably put herself in, so she puts up a face, puts up a facade, and tell these younger women like, oh, it's great to be a feminist. Oh, it is amazing to be single in the house alone with my pets and a shit ton of wine. You guys should try it too.
You don't need no man.
Yeah. You gonna let him treat you like a slave? Divorce him immediately.
Yeah, like Sex in the City was not written by younger women for older women.
We just keeping it real, Good Mother. We just keeping it real. All right. What other comments we have before we continue the topic? Yeah, MGTOW is, still trolling. Let me keep going. Of course, carry on. Yeetus is not a Reaper. I am. I never proclaim myself to be a Reaper. Where is this coming from? Yeetus is a real Reaper. What is this?
Well, to be fair, you never specified you were a Grim Reaper. Like, you're kind of just a flaming skeleton. Didn't really specify what your career choice was.
Technically, I am when it comes to banning people. That's why I got.
That's why that's the thing. Like the Reaper, it reaps. You're more like the Grim Hammerer.
Oh shit! It's crazy, and yeah, I agree with Gray with what he said. I completely agree with what he said. It is nothing wrong. Oh wait, I will address the super chat, and then we're going to address what Good Mother said next. Silas, thank you once again for your generous donation. I appreciate it very much. Okay, let me get meta. Man, am I getting kind of old? Like, what does meta mean?
I don't think it means what he thinks it means. I don't see how this is met. I don't. Oh. Maybe he means meta in the sense that he's directly pointing this at you and me because we would fall into this category because we disagree with him.
Okay, that makes sense. People who cannot see the advantages of vote limitation based on age should only get 1/8 of a vote. No collective consciousness. I don't get the last part. What do you mean by?
And we do restrict voting based on age. Like infants can't vote, children can't vote, teenagers can't vote. There's already a limit based on age.
Until you're a legal adult. Wait. People who cannot see the advantages of vote limitation based on age should only get what? I'm gonna have to address that in a bit. I'll be right back. I'm gonna have to think on that, Silas. I'm gonna have to think on that because I think I have another thing where we can take it a step further. So.
Need to get a soundboard with the Inception blong.
Good mother. But the university professor and teacher feminists, I agree, do the brainwashing. But then the older ones that work in government listen to their new coworkers and the loudest mentally ill losers.
If they're working in a government office, then they're already feminists.
Yeah. And on top of that, I don't think they're listening to their coworkers. They're listening what's trendy. The older generation. They just spew out bullshit, whether it's Congress or, wherever it's at the White House or whatever it is between the three branches. Right? Why do you think the person?
And they're not doing, and it's not like they were fucking good, solid wives who got married as virgins to a singular husband. Like, no, they're fucking slores that found a simp and now work in a government office and bitch about their husbands to the people at the office. And then they pick up some shit at the gossip table and think, hey, you know what? I can go out and whore it up again some more now that I've got some younger company to attract more men.
Yeah, like why do you think the person that got elected to the Supreme Court didn't want to specify what a woman is because she's not a biologist? She knows what's trendy, what's not trendy. What's not trendy right now is specifying genders. When it comes to that shit. So...
And getting attacked by the conservatives for being a moral coward is less dangerous than being attacked by the liberals for being a perceived transphobe.
Agreed. I would not say that the older ones are listening to the new coworkers. I say that the older ones are keeping a close eye on certain events that will keep them in power. Well, what do you have to say about that, Gray?
Straight up, like, keeping them in power is one thing, but they also realize that, hey, these new young hotter secretaries are probably going to replace them.
Well, Nancy Pelosi is definitely the exception somehow.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that Nancy Pelosi has fucking blackmail on a shit ton of people. Like, the majority of government workers are not Nancy Pelosi class. A bunch of them are more like that Canadian HR lady that fucking spurged out on TikTok and lost her job. Like, they're already like, the older women are not fucking mentally sound and capable necessarily. They're all fucking crazy.
And you have a comment. Ooh. Right here.
Meta means about a thing itself. It's a higher, more removed level of consideration. Okay, yeah, but I don't see how your comment was meta unless you were trying to specifically refer to this conversation between me and Yeetus in that sort of fashion. I understand analysis and then meta-analysis, but I don't see how your particular super chat was a meta of the previous example. It seemed like a very strange use of the word. I was trying to figure out the context you were using it in.
Definitely agree with that one. And before we continue, and we are definitely going to get even deeper when it comes to this, because we need to address this right now. I personally believe it's beyond annoying that, and I'm not talking about you guys in the chat. I'm talking about the other ones that are in the comments that probably only watches Fed and Fraud and thinking that, oh, that's the Redpill. Let's just roast these fucking drunk bitches and, oh, yeah, Frank Castle. Ooh. No. At least when it comes to my channel, the Redpill goes way beyond than just the female nature. We definitely are going to be taking another notch up. It's going to get serious. If you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus and the Warband, right? Me and Gray. There's 2 links on top of the chat, Cash App and PayPal. There are the best ways to donate because it goes directly to me, but you can super chat or super thanks. All donations are greatly appreciated, but if you cannot donate, I don't care. Okay, the fact that you're here literally at the middle of the night listening to what we have to say, that is good enough for me. That is a top priority, that you hear our conversation, because money is money. Wisdom can go on for a long time.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, also Silas, it was meta relative to my preceding statement, half-vote super chat. Yes, I'm aware that you were making another statement based on the reaction to your previous statement. I still don't think that meta was the appropriate word for what you were describing.
Bro, you were on the lookout, were you?
I got one eye on chat.
You were on the lookout. What you got to say to us?
Plus, I know he's got a fairly unique avatar to begin with, and hey, he also did it in all caps.
True. So that will catch my eye.
Yeah, I got one eye on chat, one eye on my minis. So,
but Good Mother has another one. Once again, gentlemen, maximum participation. This is what we need so we can get our points across. Good Mother. The feminist cult members have been puppeting the same things over 100 years. The radical lesbians started this nonsense, and I agree with Gray. They are all mentally ill. Did you say they were mentally ill?
The HR ladies that I've seen, but yeah, most office workers to a certain extent have some kind of mental illness. At the very least, they act fucking crazy. Also, Silas at Grey Ghost, your brain was well used today. Please reconsider tomorrow. Silas, you're not supposed to have the apostrophe. You said you are brain. Your as possessive should just be Y-O-U-R.
Why you gotta do him like that, bro? Why you gotta do him like that, bro?
he got into. Hey, if he's gonna have the personal attacks, I can criticize his spelling and choice of grammar.
Oh, I've heard.
Y-O-U/apostrophe R-E is always U-R. It has no other. Your brain was well used today. How can I take that as anything but not an insult?
Why does he say please reconsider tomorrow? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest question I have.
I don't know. I don't really think he's communicating very clearly. And I really don't have any patience for people who communicate poorly and then act superior when they're not understood.
Here we go. He says, that was autocorrect, no attacks on you.
All right, well then you're not communicating very clearly because I can't understand your intentions in half of these. You're trying to make a point for vote limitations based on age. I've made an extensive counter argument multiple times as to why that's a bad idea. and you really haven't justified your statement with any sort of additional explanation. So perhaps focus a little more on backing up your initial statement and trying to convince me.
Brad, how much percentage of the super chat do you get?
60% around that.
60%. I thought it was 70.
Yeah, I think like Susan gets 30%. So yeah.
Yeah, 70%, which is super chats are nice and all, but only if you get a great volume of super chats. But if you don't get,
apparently MGTown says 40%. He'd probably know a bit better since he's probably looked at the statements.
Oh damn! I'm boo boo the food.
Oh, payment processor fee. Yeah. So Susan gets some, the processor gets some, and there's probably taxes on top of that too. Government gets their cut.
But in all seriousness, we're going to take it. Do you think we could take this a step further when it comes to politics being involved with Redpill?
Oh, probably.
I think it could. Do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we could also, but Silas has another thing at me, so.
Again. All right.
Hey, you have 100 freaking words for everyone I have. You're being difficult at this point. My 1-8 vote super chat was meant in part in humor.
Huh. We didn't. There was no smiley face. There was no LOL. We didn't know. We didn't know it was for humor.
I'm being difficult at this point. Like, dude, you still. That's the thing. So you put out what you think is a joke. This is the fucking problem.
All right.
Like, you're not like these fucking older people who think they know more. They don't want to have a serious conversation. They put out a fucking point. I debunk that point, and then they just shove out a bunch of fucking hyperbole and like border and fucking obscure things rather than actually trying to justify their point, or even just admitting that they didn't think their initial point through. Like, for fuck's sake, this is why you guys are frustrating to talk to. You don't actually have well thought out points. All you have is fucking hyperbole and ideas that are easily debunked, or at the very least criticized, and you don't want to even address the criticism. So.
All right. It is very difficult to show your sarcasm or humor through text. You have to be more specific.
Or maybe just don't fucking do it and have a serious conversation.
Yeah, because this is a pretty serious conversation, not gonna lie.
Like, if you want, like, look at Carry On and MGTown. Those guys know how to troll and have fun with this kind of stuff. You're bad at this.
Grace not real Canadian. You think everybody's not real anything? Come on, MGTown.
Hey, to be fair, ghosts aren't citizens.
Fuck. Okay, I can't disagree with that. Good mother. For a few reasons, Carry On. Lots of reasons, but mainly this one. I like the chicken foot sticking out of the one's mouth. It speaks to me, reminds me of all the cowardly feminists who won't have an...
Probably going to be part 2, but here's Silas. Okay, so now Silas is being serious. My point of a vote limitation is because once people pay bills and taxes, they gain perspective economically. I think 35-year-old might be ideal. And you think that no one is paying bills or anything from the ages of 18 to 35?
No. I paid taxes when I was 16.
Yeah, I had a job and was paying fucking taxes at 15, 16 as well.
Whoa, wait, let's backpedal for a second. No.
So if you personally did not start doing any of that stuff till 35, then maybe you might think it applies to everyone. But all you're going to do is create a bunch of people who are deadbeats until 35, which is going to kill fucking tax revenue, as I told earlier, which you apparently ignored.
definitely would not give a fuck, especially 16 onwards, if I found out that my vote is half of what it's supposed to be. I would not give a fuck. It will raise a generation of lazy, complacent, and hell, at times probably even fucking criminals. Hell no. Like, come on. Like, I've been working for.
I think you know what, how much you want to bet Silas here is older than 35?
$20. $20. I guarantee you, Silas is not older than 25.
No, I think he's older than 35. Because he's not gonna be proposing. In fact, he's not gonna be proposing policies that are gonna take the vote away from himself.
Here goes. The withholdings at a younger age is usually insignificant. Any age limit is arbitrary. Some people can handle alcohol at 15, some never.
So he's not actually addressing any of my points and is saying that having an age limit for anything is arbitrary. Again, this is the exact same thing. Don't actually address what I said. Jump in with a non sequitur. It's fucking useless.
Now I lost $20. What the fuck, Silas? You could have just lied or something. Damn it. But let me yeah, this one, no, because some people can't handle alcohol at 35.
That's a complete non sequitur, irrelevant to whether or not someone makes enough income to justify voting. He's basically saying young people don't make enough to justify them having the same political influence as someone older.
So the power of the vote is irrelevant when it comes to other aspects of society, when it comes to what's good or what's not good for the younger crowd. Because, like, for example, at 18, a person in the United States.
Sorry. This next line. I don't care if I could not vote until 55 if everyone voting was well informed. You assume that that fucking people get informed about voting at a certain age? Wow.
Celeste, did you see my most recent video of people not even knowing who the president is, not knowing not knowing what the capital of the United States is, people not knowing how many stars on the U.S. flag is, and they're well over 18.
This isn't about being informed. You want an ideal voting system. You want to align the people who can vote with the people who have the self-interest to keep the country economically prosperous and sustainable. This fucking age tossing around thing, all that's going to do is disincentivize anyone who can't vote from participating. Which means that you're going to rush an economic collapse because young people aren't going to fucking participate when they're young because you haven't tied this to their economic prosperity or intelligence. You've tied this to their age.
Yeah, that's not right, because once again, at 18 years old, a person has to wait till they're 21 to smoke cigarettes.
And you put it at 35, like, how many people do you think are going to join the fucking military and be willing to fight and die for you if their vote is half or 1/8 yours?
Yep. And what about student loans? What about all these other things that these youngsters can do that could potentially make or break their entire fucking life? But when it comes to voting, the most important aspect of their fucking lives, in my opinion, it has to be cut in half. I don't agree.
Any political proposition is imperfect since it's a generalization. I think some 21-year-olds are well informed. Gray, my super chat revitalized you. Is that another autocorrect error? Because I don't understand you using that word in that context. It was not ineffective. What, do you mean that, like, you got me energized to call you out on your stupid idea? I mean, if that was your objective, okay.
It was not a good idea. Let's just put it out there. It's a horrible idea. I would never, ever have people say, oh, yeah, we can draft you to go to war and die. Well, you have to wait until you're 30 to actually have any type of influence on the policies that can affect you.
Yeah, if you survive the wars that we send you to, then you get to decide whether or not we go into another one.
I don't think that ain't right. That ain't right.
No, it doesn't matter whether it's right or not. If they do it, then you're going to have a whole bunch of your military that won't give a fuck, won't join the military, won't participate. But hey, if everyone who votes for that is willing to go at 35 and fucking die overseas, hey, by all fucking means, go right ahead.
Which is fine, but at the end of the day, it has to be proclaimed that is not right.
Yeah, but by the looks of it, like, as Carry-On's put out, he's saying that he triggered me. It's like, so the objective was to trigger me.
Pay attention to you.
So you're a fucking troll who says a whole bunch of nonsensical bullshit. See, this is Schrodinger's fucking douchebag. If we'd agreed with him and thought it was a good idea, he'd be patting himself on the back and smiling. But now he's like, it was just a joke, bro. I triggered you. It's like, go back to fucking Twitter.
That's what they love to do when they're proven wrong. Like, oh, I triggered you.
Yeah. Don't admit that you launched a stupid fucking idea. Instead, try to turn it into a win by saying you got an emotional reaction. Well, you know what? I'm willing to bet if I fucking shit in your bed right now, I'd get an emotional reaction. But you wouldn't fucking let me off the hook if I just said, ha ha ha, you're getting emotional, bro. Don't be such a pussy.
That always happens. Always. And like even in person, when they're clearly in the wrong, they always backpedal like, oh, bro, hey, come on, bro. Why you overreacting, bro?
Objective failed. Change objective until you reach success.
But we're going to address Good Mother right quick, because I saw this comment. I don't even know who this is. Patrick Bet David from the Value Attainment channel did a good video on voting. Curious what Gray and Yeetus thoughts are on what looked like a competence hierarchy or something like it.
If they're talking about proportional votes relative to some measurable metric such as how much of a net taxpayer you are, I can see kind of the virtue. Now, personally, here would be the idea that I'd throw out. It'd say, like, look, if you get a tax return, therefore, not being a net taxpayer, or various government, or you're a government employee whose income is entirely on taxes, then you don't get a vote. But if you're the kind of person who would get a tax return, you'd have the option of refusing your tax return in exchange for the vote. As in saying, I'm surrendering my tax return to the country in exchange for a say in it. Like that way the lower income people would still have an option, and it would cater towards the people who are more sacrifice minded. Whereas the people who would receive a tax return anyway, they could decide, yeah, I don't care much about voting, give me my money.
I'm gonna have to look this up. Competence hierarchy, like that.
Personally, I think that sounds like it's going a lot more towards a monarch style system, where the more you own, the more you pay in taxes, the greater influence you have in the ruling politics.
Agreed. I'm gonna have to research that a little bit more, Good Mother, when it comes to the competence hierarchy. That sounds. topic.
Yeah, it definitely sounds interesting. Some things to consider.
But
let's see.
my question to both of y'all: do Gray or Yeetus believe in paying taxes, or is taxation theft to you both? Taxation is fucking theft.
Yes.
Fuck. The people back in 1776, July 4th, will be rolling their fucking graves at the speed of fucking light if they saw how much taxes we're paying today.
Yeah, like taxation is much like union benefits. You don't get to control how much you're paying into it, and it's a pain in the ass to try to get value out of it. It would be far better if taxation was, well, outright abolished or at the very least lowered to an insignificant margin and you had to pay more for shit. Well, people might say like, oh, well, who would pay for roads or emergency services? You would, voluntarily.
But hey, gentlemen, why will you ever put politics into Redpill, Sir Yeetus? What are you doing? That's not how it works. Who pays the majority of taxes in the West? Men or women?
Pop quiz, everyone. This will be on the test.
Oh. And y'all have the audacity to come at me and say, oh, why you guys keep politics out of Redpill? No. This has been talked about for at least the last 8 years when it comes to taxes.
You see that 20 to 40% of your paycheck that fucking disappeared? Yeah. That's your male privilege right there.
Carry on is back on his bullshit again. Moon, Sir Yeetus, how do you feel about the stimulus checks of the last few years? Capitol Hill was beyond stingy as fuck, in my opinion. They could have done a lot more. No, this is personal. This is just personal opinion. They could have done a lot more. They could have done a completely different approach, because I believe giving a shit ton of people rent forgiveness for I forgot how long it was, but it was a long time, and giving a shit ton of people unemployment benefits during the situation of 2020. I can't really say it without Susan yeeting me. I believe there could have been a completely different avenue to help the Americans.
Yeah. Well, actually, here's what they usually do when the government injects money into the economy. They give it to the banks, so the banks will then in turn give the money out as loans so that more businesses can be built and more jobs can be created. It's not really the greatest for inflation, but when you just give people money straight up or just forgive things that they need to pay, they blow that money on consumer products. And so everything becomes fucking overpriced and expensive because people are blowing a shit ton of fresh money on things that bring no value in return.
But the amount of money that the U.S. government printed is astronomical within the last 2 years. You can't fathom how much money they printed. Yeah, it's one of the variations on why inflation is so high, in my opinion.
Well, and then there's another thing. One Bone for Life has actually brought this up. Stimulus didn't do shit. A lot of money just went overseas. That is actually even more true as well. Because there's so much overseas transactions, a lot of U.S. money is just straight up sent overseas. Like a bunch of these people that were like, oh, come in and work. Those people don't spend the money that they earn in Canada and the U.S. in Canada and the U.S. They send it out of the country. So not only are we filling the bucket to dilute what's already in there, lowering the value of the money, but money is constantly flowing out to foreign nations rather than cycling through it and making it stronger.
I completely agree. And I'm going to address the super chat. And I got your other super chat open right now, Clever Fish. Thank you for the generous, pretty much $10 donation between PayPal and super chat. I greatly appreciate it, man. Sir Yeetus, the anti-fetus elitist, got another super chat waiting for you, waiting in your PayPal with relevant comments. Good questions, good sir. Yeah, you got a long reply in the PayPal super chat. Great, you ready?
All right, let's get it.
Okay, this is what Clever Fish said. Excellent talk on the boomers. A couple of notes. One, an 80-year-old will be silent generation older than the oldest boomers who are 77 years old. True, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Two, silent generation are also part of the problem. Just look at Biden.
Yes.
True. Three, people 65 and up are unemployable since they can't do anything useful in the economy. However, they almost exclusively run the world at the moment. Yes and no.
Yeah, no, 65-year-olds plus, they can still contribute to economic growth in some ways. Now, not all of them, mind you. But there's a lot of secretarial, managerial, and training aspects that I believe 65-year-olds could contribute, and I really feel that they could contribute more because they do have a wealth of experience in their respective field that is still relevant.
Agreed. For example, the only example I have is the military. Like, there's people that were over 65 years old at times that had to be called back to service because they don't have to fight in front lines. Their experience alone is vital and crucial. And they get paid very well. They don't have to go out there and do the labor. It's just the experience in itself. They'll just be sitting behind a desk and delegating what needs to be done. So I definitely agree with what Gray has to say. But let's continue because he has a long one. Jesus Christ. Number 4. Boomers are biggest generation by numbers, followed by millennials. Once boomers are gone, millennials will have the most political power by numbers, not Gen Xers. I don't know if it's good news or bad news. Thoughts? I think it will be phenomenal fucking news. In the sense of, well, okay, now that I think about it.
Personally, as a millennial, and Silas, 31 to be specific.
Hold on, Gray.
Yeah.
There's not too many people that has the like-minded rationality, like people in the Warband and stuff. Because I know majority of you guys are millennials, and
a bunch of millennials are fucking brain dead, mentally broken fucking sheep.
Yes, and the Rhode Island state senator I know is older than me, and she is twerking for votes. So I completely retracted. I retract my statement.
Things are not going to improve when the millennials become the majority of the voting population.
Yeah, I completely agree. I retract my statement now that I think about it. You guys know I'm pretty lost in the sauce right now, but it doesn't mean I can't think rationally.
Like, for all the criticisms that I'll have for the policies that the boomers did, I don't think the millennials are going to do any better as a collective group. They'll probably do a lot worse because they're that much more fucked up.
They're the narcissistic, social power group. And I know that there will be, in my opinion, more and more, like, the one lady, I don't know if she's a millennial or not. I will assume that she is. I posted her twice on my channel that she has the audacity to say that she believes men can give birth and have abortions. So I completely agree with Gray, and I recant my statements when it comes to millennials. That's completely my fault. I did not think that through. So
yeah. I was thinking, like, you hear it initially and you're like, oh, well, that means that we're going to have more. And then it was like, no, we're the minority among this age demographic. We're not going to get to control much of shit. And then we actually think about most of the millennials we know and like, oh.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Like I was hyped for like a few seconds, but as I thought about it, like I went, oh, I take it back. This is not a good thing. Not
like,
a good thing.
Like, I mean, like, let's be honest. If all the boomers had died off like 10 years ago, chances are student loan forgiveness would have gone through.
I agree. I completely agree. But because of their, oh yeah, you need to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 jobs to pay it off, you know.
It might still go through once the boomers die off. Because I'm gonna bet there's gonna be a lot of fucking millennials still with a shit ton of student debt. You know, assuming that the economy hasn't completely collapsed by that point to begin with.
That is true, but there's even more. He gave me a huge super chat.
yeah. Keep going, man. This is content for the next 10 minutes at least.
Number 5, boomers control 80% of wealth in the country, according to periodontist Samuel Lowe at the 2019 Hinman in Atlanta. While he himself is a boomer, he points out that it is scary that one generation has that much control over that much of the country's wealth. I agree 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
This is what we've been talking about.
Yeah. The boomers have a shit ton of the country's wealth, and now I might not be familiar with inheritance law to the point of how much the government takes in taxes, but that would just make more sense for the boomers if they want to pass on their wealth to not pass it on in cash.
Agreed.
Like, you know, I'm pretty you know, there's shit like property, but again, I'm not an expert. I'm not even vaguely familiar with it. So that would be, so the subject of the wealth transfer would be something that I'd want to talk about with someone who's far more experienced with inheritance laws.
Agreed. And once again, this is what we're talking, like we solely went after the boomers for financial flaws. That's what
financial and political, because they are still the largest age group demographic and therefore control the majority of the voting issues by age numbers.
I agree, but at least in my opinion, the financial situation outweighs the voting. Even though they correlate, even though they intertwine, the financial thing is inexcusable, and they still, to this day, majority of boomers will not take responsibility for the complete fuck-ups that the Gen X, millennials, and soon-to-be Gen Zs will have to deal with.
And even if we could say, well, whatever, maybe you don't have to take responsibility, because realistically they can't fucking fix the entire thing and undo all their flaws, but that they're not even, as a collective, making an attempt to try to make things better for the future generations.
I agree. I agree.
And how they react and how they act with such contempt towards the younger generations for daring to desire the same perks and abilities in life that the boomers enjoyed.
But they vote the very same thing that will keep the future generations down.
Because it benefits them.
Exactly. But they don't want to be held accountable.
It's not even like they're trying to do it to get ahead in life. They're trying to do it to make their final years more enjoyable.
But nobody wants to talk about that, right?
When they do, we get people saying that it's not our fault, it's all the elites. It's like,
bullshit, in my opinion. Bullshit. Like, once again, I understand there's people up there, powers to be, that has bigger plans for the country or the world as a whole. But it doesn't absolve you from responsibility what you do in your personal life.
Especially and even if you're like, okay, whatever, all right, all your past shit is forgiven. What about the present fuckery? What about the fuckery you're going to do tomorrow and the day after and the day after that? Even if we wipe the slate clean now, you just dirty it again tomorrow.
Like we said before, boomers will yeet themselves if they have to deal with the prices we have to deal with today. I will say it again. Boomers will yeet themselves if they have to deal with the prices that we, millennials / Gen Zs, have to deal with today. I'm talking about everything, not just houses. Everything. What do you have to say about that, Gordon?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Silas is making a good point here, too. Student debt forgiveness is not very helpful until we control education costs. In fact, the forgiveness might stimulate reckless spending. I agree with that. I don't think that student loan forgiveness is a good idea in the slightest economically. But the only way to control education costs is to stop all government loans for education. Loans, like the price of education, did not get to this insane size until the government started to hand out guaranteed loans. Because then schools could charge whatever the fuck they wanted because the government would be the one to pay for it and then collect the debt later.
And we got one more point. He has one more. Number 6. Notice all the commercials advertising Medicare Parts D, E, X, Q, I, and Z. Who is that for? Of course, the boomers. They can't steal enough of our money.
Well, to be fair, what's the age demographic that watches the most television these days?
Well, I don't know, actually.
Not Netflix, television. Cable.
Boomers, Gen X. And a little bit of millennials, the older millennials.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, the older demographics are... Okay, let me rephrase. What demographic watches daytime television the most?
Boomers and Gen X.
Yeah. The ones who need medication.
Agreed. They can literally sit down all day.
Oh, wait, no. One more demographic. Housewives.
Don't get me started on them. Oh, God. That's all they have to talk about. Like, it's not okay. How do I say? I'm not gonna dog housewives in the sense of since they're in the house all day.
Well, it could be welfare queens too, but basically unemployed women with nothing better to do.
True, and I believe, especially let's say hypothetically, I do get a housewife, and that would be the greatest thing in the history of everything, in my opinion. I believe she can be very productive in the household and not just sit on her ass and watch TV all day. And what I mean by that is develop skills or home skills, at least. Not just watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay, look, I'll be quite frank. Like, if I'm getting a housewife, the most like automatic entertainment she's gonna get is audiobooks.
Honestly, that's not that bad. Oh shit, I'll get audiobooks.
Like, there will be no fucking television. Honestly, not even the radio. Like, a radio will be emergency use only for broadcast purposes, but there's going to be no fucking television. And I'll fucking ditch the internet connection if I have to.
Personally, I will agree, because there's countless households, at least in the non-Western areas.
Sorry, Tim's comment right there.
What happened?
Grey Ghost is wrong. Housewives don't watch TV anymore. They're too busy with Drexel.
Oh, Jesus. Oh. This dude.
Good. That's a good one. Also, Clever Fish sent you another fucking super chat. God damn, I think we found another MGTOW millionaire.
Jesus, like, you guys are way too generous, man. Especially, literally, in the middle of the night. I appreciate this greatly. I'm telling you. The fact that 52, you guys, I know it was like a little bit higher, but a good amount of you guys went to sleep, which is all good. The fact that you guys are here listening to what we have to say is way better than fucking donations. Because once again, gentlemen, I've been doing this before I got monetized. I've been doing this before I had PayPal or Cash App. Okay. Because the message is the most important at the end. And I will keep saying that until I'm done making content. Ain't that right, Gray?
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's flattering that you find what we say valuable and engaging enough to stick around. That's not something to be taken for granted, because there's tons of intelligent people out there making content, and you're choosing to listen to us. So, to show appreciation, the least we can do is try to give you new, insightful, and useful information to make your time spent with us valuable.
Agreed, because technically, you don't even have to be here. You don't even have to listen to us. But since you are investing like you always do, Cleverfish, I know this isn't your first time. You've been donating for a while. It definitely gives me and the Warband the motivation to keep going. Because the money, at least when it comes to me, right? When it comes to donations, each Warband member, they have their own reasons for the donations. For me, is art. I want art. Art. Ribby, the Booze Bank. Dead Chronic for the Kush, and so on. We were being transparent with you guys. We were making sure that you know where your money is going to.
Okay, if I'm being completely honest, and this might be slanderous and scandalous, but I actually think a bunch of Chronic's donation money goes to the art as well.
God damn it! He said he was going to get the Kush.
Don't tell him I said that, man. I just see.
Fuck.
Like, you see my avatar, man? You didn't ask for money for that. It gotta come from somewhere. I think he sacrificed some Kush for it.
He said he got the Pineapple Express. He turns out he got another comic page. He's completing his comic book.
I know, it's fucking scandalous, man. So we got to keep it on the down low. It all went to Kush. That's so. Chat, you can keep a secret, right?
But there's a few more comments, and once again, Cleverfish, I definitely respect your engagement. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to just see a bunch of MGTOW podcasts and fucking carry on trolling my goddamn chat. Okay.
Although, hey, engagements is engagement. Like, chats over a period of time are actually metrics YouTube looks at.
I don't want to see a whole list of people talking shit. Okay, it's very demoralizing. All right, let me let's continue. Let me see what else you guys got to say. Okay. Very Benjamin life. House life kind of sounds overrated if you had better options like traveling or something. See, Benjamin, I will explain, but I'll leave it to Gray. Gray, I will be right back.
It does. I understand where you're coming from there. If you're not attached to a family, then that option does pop up. But then there's also the question of what are your expenses going to be and what job path are you in? Like, if you are capable of having a remote job that can be done from basically anywhere and you don't need a fixed location to operate out of, then yeah, traveling, just being on the move frequently, you might even be able to find some sort of cheaper temporary accommodations. That's an option. Expenses, though, you've really got to carefully budget. Now, housewife, there's a difference between are you getting a house to own or are you renting? Because purchasing a house these days is considered an investment, but it also locks you in place for an extended period of time. So if you have a job that wants you to pack up and move, a house makes that a little more difficult than a rental. Though I've heard mixed opinions on that, because some people say that, well, you just resell your house before you're done paying it off and pass it on to the next person, which, I mean, I guess I've never owned a house or that much property before, so I can't really say one way or the other.
Well, in my opinion, which gender is most likely to go out there and get their bread for their family? Because at least to my knowledge, men, they go and work and do it for the people that they love or the people that they care about, whether it's their immediate family or their wife and kids, right? Like, it's unless they're single and do their own thing, men, they go out there and provide for the people that they care about. But when it comes to women, the money is about me, and me only. And I'm talking about in the general aspect. If they have no kids and they're just doing their own thing, it's all about me. Not one.
That's right. Like a lot of houses are really essentially storage units with a bed and a kitchen. Although, let's be honest, a bunch of them don't use kitchens. It's like storage units with a bed.
Agreed. And gentlemen, if you believe that bullshit that these modern women are telling you these days, like, oh yeah, I love to have a career, I love to have this, I love to have that, I don't need a man, I don't need. They're fucking bullshit you.
They don't like the career, they like the money and the status.
They like the money and the status, but do they want to do it forever? Fuck no, chat. They don't.
Like, honestly, they want to. Grown women want a career. Like, they actually want to work in a career about as much as a girl with a fucking tea set actually wants to prepare snacks in a meal.
Agreed. Right? This is why still in 2022, they still want to spread that fucking wage gap where it's actually the hourly gap, and they bring it on themselves.
Sorry, I'm just imagining like an experimental film, like that is just the strong, independent woman, and like get a whole bunch of women into the theater, and maybe simps. You lock the door. And it is just a live stream of a woman working in an office for 8 hours.
They will not be able to handle it. You talking about no communication, no talking to their female co-workers or try to flirt with the.
No, it's just her. Like, it's just her being given like no fucking television drama. It is literally just her grinding away at her work desk for 8 solid fucking hours. Maybe with a break and chatting with the co-workers at lunch about pointless shit. But there's no TV scripted drama. It is really just an 8-hour workday.
She will lose her fucking mind.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is an experimental film that you show to an audience and you advertise as a feminist masterpiece. They go in there expecting some strong, independent woman in her 30s on wild sexcapades while being a high-ranking office worker who's getting into all sorts of hijinks and has a drama-filled life. And instead, it's just mundane bullshit for 8 hours.
Yes, and majority of these career women that in their mid-30s or in their 40s, no child, no husband or nothing, if they say that, oh yeah, I'm happy where I'm at, 9 times out of 10, they're bullshitting you. They're bullshitting you. They're one of the most unhappy demographics in the United States.
Yeah, but I think that it would be very funny to get a whole bunch of women and simps to think that they're going to see a strong, independent female feminist, like, making her way in the world, and then you see what it's actually like to be a strong, independent female feminist making her way in the world.
Wasn't that one documentary? Yes, I'll bring it up again, chat, where she tried to survive as a man for like a week or two.
Self-made man. I think she did it for a couple months, really.
Oh, a couple months. And wasn't she suffering from major depression?
Oh, yeah. Also, depression. Sorry, just a quick chat. That's Sir Yeetus. Does YouTube analytics extend to chat participants?
Not that I know of, actually. I don't think they do.
I know that it gives a metric for how fast the chat is moving, but beyond that, I can't say.
Agreed. But gentlemen, she was suffering from major depression, okay, from living as a man for 2 months. And she didn't even get the full taste of how it was to be a man.
I'm going to look it up and see how long it was.
I forgot how long it was, but, yeah. Yeah.
18 months, a year and a half.
Oh, shit, 18 months. I am completely wrong, chat. That's my fault.
Yeah, self-made man, my year disguised as a man.
18 months. She fell for major depression. For us men, it's just another fucking Tuesday.
Yeah.
Her not getting special treatment. Her getting constantly rejected. Her not being able to alleviate herself or being able to have a break whenever she wants to when she's working at a major job. I don't know if she did that or not, like construction or something.
I think she worked in an office. I have to double check.
That makes it even worse. It's the fucking office. It's not even the rigorous jobs. Gentlemen, I'm gonna keep it real. It's that penis envy. It's that penis envy. They want to be so bad until they have to deal with the consequences of being a man, until they have to deal with the dark side of being a man. Because when they look at Chad, Tyrone, Pookie, and Ray, fucking Muhammad, and Enrique, they only look at the good shit of what it is to be a man. They never really contemplate on the responsibilities of what the men have to go through every fucking day. Or the consequences or the stereotypes that the men have to go through. Ever.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say exactly what job, but mentions getting into male-only venues. But yeah, no mention of like whether or not actually pursued a serious job and tried to participate in that. Which, well, She's a journalist, so for all we know, maybe she just passed as a journalist and works remotely under her real name while living as her alter ego.
But in my opinion, this is also political. This is also red pill. Am I wrong, Gray? I believe it's both.
That particular story, it definitely applies to the current politics today.
Okay, what about red pill with women? They're equal to men.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. It's definitely red pill. It's the is it political that I'm kind of on the fence with.
I agree.
It's 100% definitely red pill.
Feminism is involved in this one.
Yeah.
And feminism has been beyond political since the late 19th century.
Yeah, late 19th. Yeah, that'd be like late 1800s. Yeah.
See, this is why I get confused and I get annoyed why people are like, why are you putting politics in this? Shut the fuck up. Personally, I would say right now, shut the fuck up.
Well, and I honestly think a bunch of it is they're trying to make you apolitical because you're criticizing their politics. If you were pro their politics, then they'd praise you. It's like those people that say, stay in your lane when you're talking about something that you're not an expert in, but they only say that when you say something that they disagree with. They don't tell you to stay in your lane when you say something that they agree with.
Remember the comment that I said that I wish I would have sent to you, but he deleted it? He tried to pull that black card. I'm black myself. I'm conservative. Blah, blah, blah. I never heard somebody said that George Floyd was a hero. Well,
doesn't mean that no one did.
I'm black myself, and I'm telling you, plenty of motherfuckers in the black community praise George Floyd as a hero. So what's up now?
You think he got a fucking statue and a mural and not one person said he was a hero publicly?
Yeah, he deleted his comment immediately. Nah, when I pull that bullshit, he pulled the black card.
Yeah, I guess for the more proof that's just because you're conservative doesn't mean that you're smart.
Yeah, just because I'm not liberal, I'm not that. Listen, it's like you being in the backwoods of fucking Alabama and saying that you know what's going on in goddamn New York.
No, just because you live under a fucking rock and don't explore beyond your own isolated bubble does not mean that shit doesn't fucking happen. It was funny. Like Ribby messaged me today. I hear some fuckery is going on in Canada. I wasn't sure what he was talking about, so I started looking some shit up until he mentioned that it was about the internet going down and the banks being fucked with. So I was like, oh right, that fuckery. I found a bunch of other things that are being fucked with that I didn't know about until I had to look them up. But
agreed. But chat, I'm gonna keep it real. Hey. I'm sure you guys know, but I'm gonna say this for the future viewers. A criminal is a fucking criminal. A criminal is a fucking criminal. George Floyd's action got himself into the situation that he did. He was already high off of fucking, I forgot what kind of drug it was. Let me know, chat, if you know. And then he tried to pay counterfeit money. If you were an upstanding citizen and all that stuff, you wouldn't have gotten to that situation in the first place. I try to have sympathy, but on various occasions, George Floyd is a career criminal.
Yeah. Well,
fentanyl. Okay.
Let's just not go too. Yeah. Fentanyl's been what's killing off a bunch of people these days. So let's not go too deep, just in case Susan's listening.
Yeah, I just had to keep it real. My bad. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, me as a person of color, it pisses me off that the community that I belong in is celebrating a criminal as a fucking hero. You Stupid motherfuckers.
Well,
what else
let's be honest. If a criminal is your hero, well, that just says exactly what your particular career path is.
I'll say that's plenty of people in the black community.
Should we call them discount Jordan enthusiasts?
I will agree. Yeah. I'm sure you guys saw the various videos. No, you were in the live stream with the twerking and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not wrong. Like, in my opinion, the black community is completely lost. And they have the audacity, especially African American women, getting mad at African American men that don't want to associate with them anymore. They try to dick police black men that wants to date outside their race or overseas. But of course, we have to praise and bow down to the black woman that decides to go date outside their race.
Yeah, I should honestly get you and Drexel on a panel and just like do a real deep dive into this shit.
Tim,
I'm Tim, if you're in that, like, can we arrange that, like, maybe in a week, like, sometime next week, or maybe in 2 weeks?
I'm down. I'm down because
probably 9:00 EST. So if you've got a free time slot, let me know.
I'm sick of the excuses. I'm sick of the nonsense. I'm sick of the bullshit. I already showed at least 4 videos within the last few days of African American women doing the most stupidest shit, the most heinous shit.
Okay, a date and time, Yeet. What time are you free? Like around 9:00 sometime this week?
Let me see. What are you doing on Wednesday, the 13th?
Yep, should be good. I should be free by 9 at that point.
But I'm the black sheep of the black community for holding black men and women accountable. Oh shit. How dare you call out our degeneracy, you educated wannabe white man.
You black white supremacist.
You fucking Oreo. You fucking Uncle Tom. And you guys heard, I forgot his name. It was Hunter or Hammer? It was Hammer. Hammer is the one that called me a fucking Uncle Tom. Ain't that some shit? With his divesting bitch, Empress.
Tim, 9 Eastern.
Yeah, it'll be 8 p.m. Central. But yeah, I had to deal with the divestment bitch, Empress. Talking about, oh, you're a knocker. You're a knocker.
God, I still got to go through that stream and start to strip out all the key points for that.
You will not be saying this shit. I guarantee you, not be saying this shit in my face.
I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be saying that shit within 800 meters of you.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you, walk up on me and try to use some fucking code name, N-word bullshit like that. Like, I will be. You watch Boondocks, I will be the pimp named Slipback. Like, I will fucking backhand that. I will backhand that bitch. Talking about, oh, I just want to talk to Cry. You know, Cry don't give a fuck about you, right? And let's say he does. He's only going to fucking nut and ghost. Like, that's all he's going to. That's what he does.
But then she got that green seed, Yeet. And it's all about the thrill of getting the green seed. Doesn't matter what happens after.
I'm gonna have
seriously, it's like a, oh god, I just think it's like a horny teenage boy who like really, really wants to bang, And then he finally gets to do it. And it's just like, well, what now? He's like, I don't know. I didn't really think I'd get this far.
Midtown Podcast. I think Tom Brady should retire. I hope he stays retired. But supposedly he's retired.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry. I just remember a thing about that where apparently the last time Tom Brady retired, he gave out a football that was supposed to be like his last football, and it was worth a shit ton of money, and then he unretired.
Yeah.
Fucking cratered in price. I'm like, I wonder if you could sue him for that.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't think you can.
No, probably not, but it would be funny as fuck if someone tried.
Yeah, that's well. Hell, there was people that are able to sue for the most outrageous shit, and they win.
This is true. Although some of those, particularly like the hot coffee lawsuit, that one, it's far different than what most people think of it as. It wasn't just some stupid lady. That water was beyond hot. The machine was completely fucked, and it was serious levels of burns.
That is true. I completely back up that hot coffee suit. I will sue myself. Wasn't second degree burns?
I think it was third degree. It was insanely hot coffee.
The coffee should not have been that hot, so I definitely agree with the suing of McDonald's. I agree with that. But gentlemen, at the end of the day, I'm sure you heard me and Gray's rant when it comes to Redpill, politics, and various other things. The main thing that I'm trying to say is Redpill can go beyond just talking about female nature. Not saying don't talk about female nature. I'm saying that there's way other things that affects men, right? Male issues that doesn't really involve women. But
yeah, the red pill is the red pill is at the end of the day about trying to find the truth, and the truth about women. That might be what brings a lot of guys to the red pill, but for the journey to end there is a waste of potential and is likely going to lead to ruin anyway.
I agree. Being ignorant about the situation will be your downfall. If you know countless people are going down that path of no return, aka marriage, divorce, and family courts, you should pay close attention because you can clearly be next. Because like I always said before, it's not the fact that it's not the fact if she can divorce you or not. It's the fact that she can divorce you at any time when it feels like it, gentlemen. Feel like it. It can be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now. Think on that.
And she can be convinced to feel like it by anyone.
Her mother, her siblings, her best friends, work husband. It goes on. The media. It goes on. Why do you think our core advice is if you get a foreign girl, keep her in her fucking country? Because it won't even be a week until she's radicalized.
If she wasn't radicalized before and waiting for you to bring her back.
The fact that she knows that she could dupe you and get away with it? Come on, gentlemen, you already know.
Doesn't matter what... Look, it does not matter what fucking third world backwater shithole you get her from. They've got smartphones and they have internet access. They might not have heat, running water, or even a house made out of anything but dirt. But I guarantee you, they got a cell phone with internet access.
I like what we said before. We know all women are like that. We already know all women are like that. But it's all about her environment is what counts. The environment separates the type of women that you deal with. And according to her religion, according to her culture, and according to the laws of a country. That's the big difference.
Yeah, like the social pressures are going to make a huge difference. And when you take this, if it's like her family's social pressure that's keeping her on the straight and narrow, you take her away from that influence. Congratulations, you just took her away from the one thing restraining her.
Bingo, which is probably her very, very traditional conservative families.
And the family has definitely good incentive to keep her on the straight and narrow because they're going to be looking at you as their own fucking retirement plan.
Bingo, which is why they go extra hard on their daughter if they're not up to standard. There's stories of if the daughter cheated or if the daughter is not satisfying that man, the parents literally offer up like the cousins or the older sisters. Like, gentlemen, when you have a good amount of value, once again, it varies, right? Like in the States, yeah, you're average, but overseas, you're definitely a lot better than a good amount of people, at least in East Asia. I'm telling you, gentlemen, it's crazy how a lot of men they're so afraid or they're so just a lot of cowardice when it comes to dealing with women. And I don't blame them when it comes to the West. But that's why I said go overseas. Go overseas. I've been there. It's a million times better than what's over here. I'd rather go back right now if I had the chance.
Be careful which one you pick, though. I've had mixed. I've had mixed experiences overseas.
Well, where you've been? Because I've been to a lot of countries in the east.
The one I had the most time with was Vietnam.
You went to Vietnam, bro?
Yeah. There for like a month and a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely like a yes or no situation right there. Goddamn. The food is very cheap.
The food's amazing. Food is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, especially the pho.
Oh god, yes. Like I honed my love for fucking chili peppers there.
And it was like, I think for what I remembered, it was like $4.
Yeah, no, beyond cheap, delicious fucking food. And if you knew like where to go eat with the locals, it was a great bloody experience.
Yeah, and it was great. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Vietnam for the most part is not a good country economically. There's a good amount of people living in poverty, but so is the U.S.
Yeah. Now I had a couple other things because I didn't just have a good time there. I was there long enough that I had some bad experiences that
Cool. You want to share experiences?
The hotel I was staying within was robbed. The cops would do absolutely nothing, even though it was definitely the people who own and ran the hotel that did it. And I was told that I would need to get the fuck out of that hotel that night so that they didn't send assassins to come assault me in the night or kill me.
What in the actual fuck? You had to worry about assassins?
Yes. Very cheap in Vietnam.
What was worth your life? A bowl of pho? Like, what the fuck?
$1,000 cash.
Based on the country, I see what you're saying, but holy fuck, bro, that's crazy. I never had to deal with something like that. God damn, that's crazy. All you want to do was chill in the hotel, right?
Yeah. Like fucking, I was paranoid about putting shit in the safe because I'd heard that the locks on those things are sometimes faulty, and didn't think that these guys would steal shit off the counter. Like, stupid in fucking hindsight on my part. But that the cops, A, would do absolutely nothing, and B, merely reporting it meant that my life was in danger.
Let me see. I'm reading this right quick. I thought Asians getting tired of American white women since they're too stretched out and boring. I would disagree. There's plenty of Asian men still having a thing for white women. What did I say about that, Gray?
Yes, can confirm Asian dudes like white women, and Asian women's like white dudes. Because when I was there, I definitely wasn't oblivious to all of it. But I was oblivious to a lot of them. Like, I felt like fucking meat on display walking around.
Shit, I think of how I feel. I have to deal with the racism from the elderly people, and with a younger crowd is either I'm a basketball player or a rapper. Like, okay.
But like the amount of times that I had to be stopped from making a mistake. Like, there's another one, went on a fucking tour guide, paid for the fucking gondola ride, but didn't have the paperwork to prove it, and the tour guide was like, "Well, you have to pay for the gondola ride, or you have to walk." I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll walk up to the temple, and he got super fucking pissed.
I know you got money. You American.
So no, like, I was regularly attempted to be scammed from, like, at every fucking turn. And then there was that bit right there. And then there was like the incident with the hotel and having to fuck off because you even report a crime, your life's in fucking danger. So like, okay. Like,
but gentlemen, best believe we will be making a stream sometime this week.
Yeah, and then the fucking Vietnamese airline outright opened up my luggage and stole like my camera out of it.
Oh, damn, I probably went to jail. Yeah, I probably went to jail.
Yeah, so personally, like, I like how the place looks. I like the fucking food. I do not trust the fucking people or the society of Vietnam.
The only thing good about Vietnam, gentlemen, is the food, in my opinion.
And it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
In certain areas.
Oh, and there was the boat that had a shit ton of bed bugs.
That is terrifying.
Yeah. So, no, I had a lot of, like, pretty bad moments with that. So, yeah, personally, Southeast Asia, like, Vietnam in particular, like, maybe I just had a rough one personally, but yeah, I got enough that made me really fucking, I wouldn't go back.
Well, I'm going to read this right quick. Silas, welcome back, bro. If you want a good woman of an African ethnicity, I say vacation in
Namibia.
Yeah.
Namibia.
Okay. I lived there in high school. You can find a woman who wants a family and is good at English. It all depends how fast the feminist cancer is spreading, Silas. That's the biggest question, because it's going worldwide.
If it's not so poor that she would marry you without liking you, that means they're not too far from feminism. If they speak English, it's going to fucking spread because, well, feminism's done in English.
Namibia is not so poor that she will marry you without liking you. Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to be with a bitch that truly doesn't want to be with me. Fuck that. Not even close. Amir, Yeetus, did you ever go to the Philippines? How are the women there? Yes, I went to Manila, and the women there are beyond friendly. Gentlemen, we are definitely going to be addressing this in a future stream. I had so much fun, and it was so calm. It was so cool. I don't have to deal with any type of feminist aggression or nothing. All around, it was feminine behavior. Don't get me wrong. Like, I ain't trying to go to like anywhere I want. No, like, I was pretty careful, right? Because the red pill doesn't stop just in the United States. You got to be red pilled around the world. Because AWOLT. So, regardless, when it comes to these Asian countries, especially Philippines, they are truly trying to see if they can get an American to be a husband. Like, it's no joke. Yeah, of course, yeah, they prefer a white guy, but a black man is runner up as well. Because, believe it or not, the Philippines and the United States have a close history when it comes to African American men. Did you know that, Ray?
No, I didn't. Also, just reminded, if you do ever go to Vietnam, there are very few. There's so only certain taxi companies that you should use. You get into the wrong one, they'll drive you to the wrong end of fucking town, and if you're lucky, they'll eventually take you to where you ask them to go.
There it goes. I looked it up. It was the Philippine War, where the African American men associated very close with the Philippine men when it comes to the war.
Oh, nice.
So that's why I was able to still have a good time in the Philippines, because we still, for the most part, have good relations. Yeah, nobody wants to talk about it. I wonder why. But you can definitely find a good potential wife in the Philippines still. Just don't go to the inner cities. Inner cities is feminized like crazy. You have to go to outside the city, the outskirts, and you will deal with her and her family as well. It is what it is. But, you know, don't be a bitch about it. Have confidence to say, hey, you know, I want to talk to your daughter. And you will have to go through the parents and the grandparents and the siblings and the majority of the family first before you even get to her. But it's possible. Once again.
Oh, and hey, the more barriers put between you, the more likely that, you know, she's not fucking tainted and shit. Because if there's that kind of barriers, then she's not easy.
Agreed. And anybody that's in the West, I'm talking about people in the US, the Canada, and UK, you guys have the advantage when it comes to countries like the Philippines. Because American equals money.
Heck, Western equals money in general.
Yeah, Western equals money. Yeah, I agree. So, we already know women, this is their biological trait. They're not going to get with you if you have no resources to give them. Like, That's not going to go away. So show that you have a stable job. Show that you're not either remote or whatever you do. I guarantee you, your family will love you. Because even till this day, the Philippines, they're not really they're not doing too hot economically. And based on what you guys know about the Redpill, you know how hypergamous women can be. That's why I say keep them in their country. Keep them with their family, which I personally plan on doing. If I have a family in the Philippines or Malaysia, South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, like whatever it is, she's staying there. She's not coming back with me. If I have to go back to visit family, if I have to go back to do a job, I'm doing that alone. Because if I'm not there, I can trust that the family will keep an eye on her. Because remember, gentlemen, AWOLT. What do you have to say about that?
No, absolutely agree. Like, if you're gonna go out there, like, first of all, I recommend remote job, which hopefully we'll be able to get some insight on tomorrow. Got to see if we can contact Brandon Trueblood. Like, have something where you can work remotely. Keep them with the family so that you have someone monitoring your mutual investment. They're investing in you, you're investing in her. That's the deal.
Agree, because who's also at loss if your boo thing is out there cheating and shit? The parents ain't gonna let that happen. You guys know what I'm talking about. They're not gonna let that happen because that's money out of their pockets as well. Especially old age, if they want to be taken care of.
They're going to be extra careful to protect their investment, which is the trust in you. And if you have a job that allows you to fuck off and leave whenever the hell you want, that's extra leverage because there's no guarantee you're coming back. The only thing binding you to them is their daughter and continued loyalty. So they're going to fucking press her to get a bunch of fucking kids out of her. Secure you for the family.
And once again, with the Godfather Patrice O'Neal, the fish analogy is one of the best analogies I've heard when it comes to red pill knowledge. Okay. If I'm not out there fishing, if no fish is coming to me, you ain't going to find me attractive anymore. You're not. So you're going to have to smell fish on me so you know that I can get fish so you can act right. Meaning, if I don't go out there and women aren't attracted to me whatsoever, no micro hints of them being attracted to me, you are not going to be attracted to me. So I gotta be out there so to show you, hey, I can still get bitches if I wanted to, so you can stay in line. And I completely agree. I agree. What's it called? Silas, if you had a daughter, what will you tell her about relationships? Okay. I will tell her that, hey, you need to get married immediately. You shouldn't be focusing on having a full-time career for the next 40 years. You can have a career once you create a family and stuff and everything is Gucci. But at the moment, if you want to be taken care of for the rest of your life, you need to focus on not trying to fuck some random dude just because he's whispering sweet nothings in your ear. You need to keep your legs closed and wait for that right person. And me and other members of my family will vet this man to the utmost of our ability to make sure that he ain't no fucking fuck up. Then you get married. Then you start having kids. And then after you have the kids and the kids are old enough to do their own thing, then you can have a career. And this is what I got from Gray. This is what I learned from Gray. I didn't think about this until Gray mentioned this. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Oh, exact same deal. Like, her most valuable time where she can get the highest quality man is going to be 18. Realistically, you should start looking for future material as young as 16 and aim to be having the first kid by 20. And you vet the shit out of the dude, and you either find an older man. It doesn't have to be too much older, but an 18-year-old with a college graduate who's got like some potential under his belt and is building his career, mid-20s. That seems reasonable. Because you might not necessarily want to tire to someone who has potential but then trips at the fucking finish line.
And I know I'm gonna get some slack for this, but it makes perfect sense. Because while the husband is out there doing his thing for the next 15 to 18 years, she can focus on the children and focus on building a healthy household when it comes to creating a strong family bond. And that when the children are able to just fuck off and do whatever they're going to do, which is usually 18, right? Then she will be 38 years old. She will be able to still have a career after the fact if she wanted to do that, because we're done raising the kids.
And honestly, and should be even less. And I think that she'd actually have more success starting a longer career if she wanted to actually be hired on. Because it's like she doesn't have kids, so she doesn't have kids dependent on her at the household, so she's not going to have to run off for like Timmy losing a tooth at school or getting a stomach ache. She's not going to get pregnant because she's done with that. She's done having the kids. Agreed. So she's less of a liability than any of these women in their like mid-20s, early 30s who are liable to just drop out and start becoming a mother at any day.
Yep, and they drop the kids off at daycare and just forget about them.
And then have to keep their phones on. They forget about them until the elementary school calls and they need to drop whatever the fuck they're doing. Like, can you imagine, like you're wide awake having surgery performed on you, and then the head surgeon suddenly gets a call and runs out because their kid got a stomach bug at school? Meanwhile, half your organs are exposed to the air. There's a long, awkward pause right there while everyone processes that nightmare. Oh, damn, everyone's being quiet for a second. Maybe you just had to step out. So that's the thing. Like, I've seen adults start into like fresh careers in education, like in their like 40s or even like 50s and 60s as grandmothers. They do great. They've got the discipline to get stuff done. They don't have a lot of distractions, but they do still have an active social life. They're usually quite pleasant. So, on the whole, it's really the best long-term solution. What they end up missing out is well, the CC and the temporary enjoyment. But like, that's the same as you missing out on like years of wild partying and hard drugs. Like, yeah, it's fucking enjoyable, but you end up fucking yourself up for a hell of a long time, if not the rest of your life over it.
I don't think anyone wants to think about that, Gray.
Well, yeah,
I don't want to think about World War III, so I gotta worry about that shit anyway.
No. Did you hear? Did you hear exactly what I traumatized them with?
No.
I traumatized them with the idea that of a career woman who's a surgeon suddenly having to go because their kid got a stomach bug. Meanwhile, you're the one awake but paralyzed on the operating table with your organs exposed to the air.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely take this back then.
And then and after I said that, like, you know, I paused for dramatic effect and response, but you were AFK, so I was like, oh, damn. I guess I fucking traumatized people with that one.
No. I had to do something right quick, but
yeah, I figured, but it was kind of funny because I was like, damn, that was a good one.
But at the end of the day, you do agree that Redpill and politics, for the most part, is intertwined, at least in 2022.
Absolutely. Like, and that's the thing. Like, the red pill in its purest form is the truth. And knowing the truth is going to be essential to navigating the political landscape.
I completely agree. I agree. And gentlemen, you got to stop being naive when it comes to the red pill, okay? Because in my opinion only, it doesn't just stop with women. Like, you got to be, in my opinion, very close-minded to think that the red pill is just female nature. Male issues comes in various forms, especially when it comes to a societal sense.
Like, it starts like when men realize that women are lying to them. But then once they move past the, okay, well, this is what I need to do to attract women, which is where like a bunch of the beginner red pill stuff comes from, PUA. But then it goes to the, like, well, there's the legal aspects tied in with it. And that's where politics first comes in. As soon as the law gets involved, now you've gotten involved in politics. So the only way that you can have any red pill exposure while avoiding politics is if you're only using it for dating purposes.
I completely agree. I agree. But do you have anything else to say to the Warband before we head out?
No, we've dove pretty far into this, but I guess the one last thing I would leave is, don't just think of politics as what the talking heads on the television or the politicians are trying to sell you a narrative. Politics goes beyond just the structure of government and the laws to any sort of social dynamics and human interaction. They're based on, at best, a one-sided representation of reality, and at worst, outright fabrication. It's important to question what you're seeing and hearing and try to verify what you can. Because everyone is going to try to get you to do what they want. And you need to know the truth to know what's best for your personal goals. Because you need to live for yourself, not someone else.
I completely agree. He said it a lot better than I was going to say. All I got to say is, when it comes to politics being involved with the red pill, gentlemen, if you're not willing to broaden your horizons and actually listen to things that are happening when it comes to current events, world events, it is no sympathy whatsoever if you're caught off guard of events that you didn't see coming because you didn't even bother to learn. So, on that note, thank you everybody that donated today. Okay. No, it's midnight. I know you guys are trying to go to sleep. That's why we're trying to end this right now.
Fucking you said we were gonna do this for an hour, and now we're 3.5 in.
Yeah, I fucked that. But thank you for participating. And literally, it's about to be sunlight in a few hours. So I'm glad that we're able to drop a shit ton of gems on you today. Once again, because this is the second stream that I started yesterday. So this is Sir Yeetus and Gray. And hopefully you guys had a good night. Hopefully you guys had your drinks and cigars. Go to sleep, stay hydrated, and we will definitely continue the content tomorrow when it comes to the shorts because I didn't do shorts today. So it's definitely going to get back on schedule because today on Saturday, it was fucking chaos. Everybody was doing the live stream. There was no way I was able to go up in there and do my thing. But you guys are one of the most loyal subscribers that I've ever seen. Like the highest was 64. 64 you guys in the middle of the night were willing to see what Sir Yeetus and Grey Ghost had to say. And I am forever grateful for what you guys willing to do to listen to our knowledge, our wisdom. And we are out. Peace.
Peace out, Warband.